as an order of who to talk to. And if you need to speak for more than 2 minutes, please feel free to add your name back to the list. This is just to make sure everyone gets the same amount of time and then we move efficiently.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mccarty, and I am the president of Professional Business Fraternity Alpha Kappa Psi. I'm here today to raise a question regarding Simmer Calcat and the unjustified removal from her position as treasurer. Simmer was removed from office out of pure speculation that funds had been misappropriated and used for a trip to Austin, Texas with select leaders. To begin, I would like to point out at what point in this due process was Simmer invited for a chance to provide an explanation or to clear her name. This vote was done with a completely one-sided and inaccurate story, which provided false information. Secondly, Simmer is one of the Ohio University's most well-known business bobcats, as she founded the Bobcat Consulting Group, has held multiple positions in the student fixed income management group, such as the head investment analyst, and currently the quantitative strategies analyst. Simmer is also an active member of my fraternity, Alpha Kappa Psi. Simmer then continued on with her career to be elected to the position of treasurer, winning by a landslide with the only student on her ballot who was elected to the position. All of Simmer's peers, colleagues, faculty advisors are offended her integrity was put into question in such a rash and despicable manner. As a student body, and as anyone who knows Simmer personally, we are all disgusted by her unjust claims and impetus decision-making skills as a renowned university organization. The Bobcat Pledge states, I believe everyone has the right to live in a community where they are included, accepted, valued, and respected. I pledge to not use demeaning language or degrade others. I choose to exercise my voice and encourage dialogue that includes critical thought, and I will stand up and intervene against unjust discrimination. This statement claims that we have the right to be valued and respected, and you don't seem to value Calcat's qualifications or have any respect for her professional background or feelings whatsoever. With the information that was provided to you, how much critical thinking was done on your part? And to stand up against an organization that is predominantly white and is openly discrimination against them. After tonight, with all of our voices, we encourage you to formally apologize to Simmer on a university-wide basis, which would state your impulsive decision to remove an accomplished and overly qualified student with ill information and inaccurate materials from her sitting position. Because Simmer is smart, genuine, and a kind person, she deserved more from her university, which she worked so hard to make a better place for everyone. Without proper acknowledgement from your organization,
So you're at 2 minutes, so if you would like to continue, you can add your name to the list again. You could type. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bailey Heisler. I'm a junior here at OU. I'm here similar to numerous other students to express concern about our fellow student and friend Simmer, as well as the competency of some members of this important and influential student-based organization, which has recently made me very disappointed. I hope you'll understand that it's difficult putting faith in a university Senate system when a decision is made to terminate Simmer's position based on a statement that took less than a few seconds to say, and that was not mentioned alleged, which you guys have discussed already. Noted conveniently when she was out of the room and unable to speak up for herself and not given the chance to until afterward from her own doing. To my knowledge and the viewers as well, this was a past resolved issue that had nothing to do with Simmer's individual actions and was a mistake that had no consequences deemed towards her. I hope you see that Simmer holds credibility for herself as she is a strong, independent, and intelligent woman who has done great things, is continued doing great things, and will do great things for others in the future and for herself and others. Finally, I would like to ask you, did your opinion for change just as quickly as it did after myself speaking or Matt Courtney as it did for those few seconds that it took to hear that anonymous tip? If so, I'm glad that you think of her highly again, but I'm also ashamed of decisions made by a majority of our student senate that are overwhelmingly subjective, irrational, and borderline. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Tim Reynolds. I direct the Select Leadership Development Program in the College of Business. I was directly accountable, along with my wife, the other co-director, for the trip to Austin, Texas. So if there's any question pertaining to that, I want to hopefully clear that up about this. Any of those trips that we do, and there are people in this room, Ryan, Katie, they're on the Senate, these trips are fully funded by designated donor money, and they are paid in full by the Select Leader Development Program for high-achieving people who make their way into that program, first and foremost. Second, we were scheduling that trip. My wife, co-director, immediately got contact from Simmer to indicate to her that this expense had been put on her P card because she has one. We've had that happen several times before, not with students, but with other faculty, not the program, because they have a P card. And immediately on January 19th, there's a whole paper trail of my wife reaching out to people saying, we are scheduled to take a group of our students to Austin, Texas on February 1st. One of our students, Simmer Colcat, also copied on this note, is in a student leadership development program whereby she has a university P card. She has a charge show up on a P card that was about the same amount as an airline ticket. Is it possible that her ticket was inadvertently charged to this wrong card? There's a litany of trade-offs back between the purchasing department, the travel agency, finally through accounting. And the final message transfer here on January 19th at 11:14 a.m. is there anything Simmer needs to do, or will it clear when we've completed the trip and submit the report? The response from the department, the charge is where it needs to be. She can substantiate the report now, and then any future charges linked to this trip, she can use the same report header and add B, C, and D at the end of the report. Inadvertently put on her P card. She notifies immediately of that, and we seek out proper counsel from the people that are responsible for it. She's a member in good kind of the Select Leadership Development Program. And it's an absolute honor and a privilege to have her in. So thank you very much.
If you'd like to elaborate more, again, feel free to add your name.
Sorry.
My name is Jessica Nabel, a second-year medical student and former student senator. In 2021, my college and I unanimously voted to remove my position from the student senate, as we already have an autonomous student government. I'm not here to discuss my resignation, nor am I here representing my college. I simply wish to speak on my experience with Simmer Colcat. During my time in the student senate, Ms. Colcat demonstrated nothing short of dignity and professionalism. She holds a position with an impeccable display of leadership and humility. I regret not being a voting member when Ms. Bobcat's position on the Senate was up for debate. She was wrongfully removed, and despite countless evidence showing the situation, which she corrected, was through no fault of her own. Community, character, civility, citizenship, and commitment. These are the core values expected from all members of Ohio University. So I ask, where were these values when the student senate voted out a member without her being present to defend herself? Unfortunately, this will be a permanent blunder in the history of our Senate. I'm pleased to hear that this decision was overruled, and I ask that sincere reflection on this matter is done. Thank you for your attention, and with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you. Casey Hall-Jones.
Hello, my name is Casey Hall-Jones. I am a former Chief Justice and Chief Justice Emeritus of the Student Senate. I am not here to talk about any particular allegations against former Treasurer Colcat. I am simply here because in my interactions with current members of the judicial panel, I have heard members of the judicial panel receive multiple negative and harassing complaints over the last week, especially towards current Chief Justice Hannah, simply because she read the anonymous statement, which at the time she believed she was required to, and even now she still had the ability to under Robert's Rules of Procedure. That is unacceptable, regardless of your personal opinion on the decision made by the student senate. Like, your response to negative, something that you do not believe is correct, should not be attacking and harassing other members of the Senate, especially if those members of Senate didn't vote. Another thing I would like to say is, as a former member of the judicial panel, as was mentioned earlier by former Chief Justice Emeritus Walter Milhone, the only organization that has the ability to void or temporarily suspend the RMP is the judicial panel, which means as the vote did take place, and the only allegation in the flash statement was the voiding of that section in this case, as that decision was not made by the judicial panel, it is not valid. At this point in time, it is former Treasurer Colcat, because the only group with the organization to make that decision would be the judicial panel. And the judicial panel has not met on that. That doesn't mean the claim was legitimate or that she should or should not be removed. I am not stating that. I am simply stating the judicial panel has to make that decision, and that is in their authority. If you have any of these complaints and you believe it not valid, bring it to the judicial panel and have that conversation there. Because right now, regardless of that statement, former treasurer Kilcat is former treasurer Kilcat. I reserve the balance of my time.
Yeah, that's me. Anyway, hello. My name is Walter Milhone. As people have said, I am Chief Justice Emeritus, and I never expected to actually have to use that position, but here I am. I don't have much to say other than a correction to everything, almost everything that I've heard this evening. Ms. Colcat was not removed from her position as treasurer because of an alleged misappropriation of funds. She was removed from her position as treasurer due to a vote of this body of no confidence. This body voted no confidence in Treasurer Colcat by a greater than two-thirds majority vote. That was required by the Constitution, required by the rules and procedures. As I said earlier, it's the job of the judicial panel to interpret the rules and procedures, and given my extensive experience in that organization and with this body, votes of confidence are final. There's no appeals process, there's no discussion on the matter. They vote, it is very straightforward, black and white, on a piece of paper. Yes, they have behaved in a way that removes their confidence from the position, or no, they have not. Like, there's no discussion on it, there's no appeals process, it's straightforward. And yeah, I just wanted to make that correction. I reserve the balance of my time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Walter Malone.
That was me. I just didn't have enough room for my title and my name.
Good evening. My name is Vika Ahmed. I'm a sophomore major in marketing. I know from our other room with her on the Build Together ticket last spring. I was shocked to hear such a passionate student being put through this. Seymour being one of the few persons of color in such a position with important visibility for myself and other minorities here on campus. It is scary to see that she was subjected to this by a majority of white students and given no chance to defend herself. Many of us see the blatant discrimination. My question to you, Student Senate and Judiciary panel is, are you the same people who represent me as well, being a Black woman on campus? I reserve the balance of my time.
I'm a junior here at Ohio University studying finance, business analytics, and women's studies. Last week, as you all know, that I was unjustifiably removed from my position. And to be quite frank, I don't care that that resolution or whatever that statement was is void. The defamation, the embarrassment, the humiliation that I have faced over the past week, nobody would want to go through that. The anonymous tips that were sent, this entire calculated process that I know people spent hours with their office hours, their positioned office hours, spent developing this process to make sure that I was not in the room, that the recording was off, that the advisor was not present. To make that vote, I would like to ask graduate advisor Padilla, please share my evaluation responses. How many people wrote? They would not have voted no confidence if that anonymous tip of me buying that plane ticket was not made. How many people would have swayed their vote? If I was in there, if I were able to say, I would have happily provided my email threads. I put this on my social media because no one was making a statement. My name was being defamed all throughout articles, posts, people messaging me, screenshots being circulated saying that I mishandle university funds. How dare you? How dare you? Anonymous tip for being sent at my cost. Years down the road, this is gonna haunt me in my profession. But obviously nobody thought that through. So, with that being said, I think there's a lot of other students who have something to say now as well. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Hello, my name is Quinn here, studying administration. Last year, during the late month of February, an executive session was called to order. I was a proxy for past LGBTQ commissioner, Molly Davis, meaning I was able to be in the exec session and I had a vote. Kind of like similar to this when you go to the judicial panel, blah, blah, blah. The purpose of the executive meeting was to discuss a rumor that Senator Richland Danielle was misusing funds. Later, we found out that the allegations were false. In this meeting, we also found that Richard was sending messages, demeaning messages trying to get people to be on his side, etc. This white male was then acquitted of his charges because of the lack of evidence of the mishandling of funds. Now, you say that you have no confidence in Senator because of her you have no confidence. If there was no misuse of funds, then why would you not have confidence in her? If these allegations were false, there's no difference than what there was last year. So my question is to you, are you defending your position because of your ego? Because I remember when I was in student senate, the judicial panel had a very big ego. Oh, I think you were right. Are you doing this because you have a vendetta against her because of your decision making? Or are you doing this because she's a person of color and you don't like who she represents? I reserve the balance of the time.
Hello everyone, my name is. I want to welcome everybody to today's general body meeting. I'm addressing this room as a whole as a member of OU student body, but as well as the Black Affairs Commissioner within the undergraduate student senate. The recent events that have become prevalent since the last UPM have not only disturbed me, but other members of the community as well. We watched an incorrect accusation with no investigation prior to its upbringing to voting members mean a difference in whether a qualified officer remain in their position as treasurer of Ohio University's undergraduate student senate. Not only was there removal of someone who I believe was qualified to be in the role they were elected into, but there was a removal of a connection to multiple underrepresented communities within Ohio University. I'm embarrassed at the actions that have taken place within the Student Senate on multiple different occasions and the lack of effort to address the student body on this issue sooner. The Senate in its entirety should recognize the need for reverting back to its overall mission to be the voice of the students and to actively take steps to improve students' well-being. The vote of no confidence that takes place within Senate should be more about the overall impact of the actions of the executive officers and the beneficial attributes that they bring to the table, rather than a popularity contest of what friend wants to stay on the executive board. I reserve the balance of my time.
Hello, members of Ohio University Student Senate and also students of Ohio University. Thank you all for being here. My name is Danielle Klein. I'm a junior studying anthropology, and many of you probably know me as LGBTQA+ affairs commissioner. I have some concerns regarding communications on both sides of the recent situation. Senate PR has stated on multiple occasions, including in a message directed to current members on Tuesday, 2/22/22, and then a secondary message sent today on 2/23/2022, that a secondary statement would be released addressing students' concerns. However, this message was not sent and posted until 6:50 p.m., just 25 minutes before the general body meeting. This is not a sufficient time frame in order to foster an educated student body, and frankly, I expect better. These students that we represent deserve better. And going into the future, I demand better for the sake of the students around us. In addition, it is clear that some of the information that was leaked from the executive session was not thoroughly followed up on, nor discussed, nor allowed for due process, as advisors can and should have been permitted to attend the discussion of the executive session per Robert's Rules of Order as invitees. Much of this entire situation could have been resolved through a simple conversation, which did not occur. Secondly, however, I am rather disappointed in many of the broad strokes applied to all of the Senate without respectful discourse. It goes without saying that these conversations are necessary and difficult and valid, but it is important to remember that we are interacting with other human beings who are just like us with daily struggles in situations that we know nothing about. And I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you.
name is Jenny Gillett. I'm a graduate student in the Biology department, and I'm the International Student Commissioner. So my question is really in regards to the procedures that had happened in volleyball, and I don't know how much I'm allowed to speak on that because of the parents. But I think we were set up to fail, those of us who were in that room to vote, because when we were given the information that we were given, one, I've only been in the student senate for 4 months, but I have not had a large interaction with the student senate as a whole, but from my interaction so far for those 4 months, it has been predominantly positive. I'm not only a woman of color, but I'm also an international student, and I have felt respected in that room. Does that mean that if everyone's experiencing that room? Absolutely not. And I'm not here to speak for them, and their experiences are definitely valid. However, I will say that when we were given that information, I was entirely shocked. However, I was operating also under the fact that I could trust the institution. And I was not given the information that when we were voting, our vote would be final without Treasurer Colpack being able to rebut. I just thought that we were responding to the information that we were given, and I did not know that she would not be able to rebut that information at all. And also, it comes with so many consequences that I feel like we should have been able to see the information that we were given. We were told that proof was there. We were never given that information. A senator asked, are we allowed to see the information? And we were not. So also, I think the student body needs to know that when we're attacking senators for the vote that they made, we did not see evidence. We were told to do something, and we were not totally made aware of the consequences of what we were doing. I reserve the balance of my time.
Actually, I just have something personal to say. How dare you sit over there and giggle and this when I was giving my speech, when you have a woman who's a finance major being treasurer and you kick her off, her whole entire reputation could be ruined because of this. And you, a white man, sitting over there giggling because she's not there anymore. You could have ruined her future.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of
order.
All communication needs to be directed to you as the chairperson.
I would like to remind that as chairperson, all communication should be directed to me. No, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to finish off the last paragraph of my statement. That was with everyone. A proper acknowledgement from our university to our student body from your organization. These laws will continue to shadow her for the rest of her career. I've known Simmer for 2 years here at Ohio University. From the first time I met her, I knew she was the smartest and most competent person in any room. Signed and read by Matthew Gordon.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Odessa Robinson. I'm a junior studying communications here, and I'm the president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People here at Ohio University. Sorry, I have nothing prepared, so I'm kind of winging it. But I just want everybody to have some food for thought that this is the result of when there is a lack of diversity with students in power. This is the first example, but it starts here. It starts here at a lower level of the university, and then it goes where? It goes to Wall Street, it goes to the judicial system, and it goes to everywhere else in the world where it affects us. And you're intentionally using larger words and saying that it's a lack of confidence, and it's putting a blanket over a larger issue and your implicit biases. It's taking a lack of accountability, and this is not going to be an example. You are, like somebody else said, you are doing damaging things to this woman of color that is already struggling and fighting for a position, not only here, just at this university, but when she graduates. These things are going to follow her. Your small decisions have consequences, and you need to acknowledge them instead of labeling them as small things such as lack of confidence and reflecting yourself of why you had no confidence in the first place. That's all.
I'm Danielle Klein. I was in Senate after serving as interim vice president in summer 2020.
straw with the judicial panel refusing to remove a candidate who was under investigation for counts of sexual assault. But previous to that, the situation was still so bad, and the culture and influence for me. It took forces of my sense of self, my confidence, and it is worse, my safety. And I see it doing that to people again today, and that's hard. So walking back in 12:35 today, not my favorite. And I wouldn't have come if it wasn't so hard to watch Senate execs, including President Ivan, Vice President Pertel, Chief of Staff Freitag, and even Chief Justice Fleming continue this culture and this pattern of manipulation, harm, and toxicity against someone who I have such respect for and who I've seen take on a role in this organization with dedication, positive influence, and incredible savvy. My hope used to be that this organization could improve, but now I ask only that you apologize for your treatment of Simmer. And to those few of you they've managed to keep in this body that used to be so strong and populous, I only can recommend that you get out and find an organization with values, find an organization who will support you, and find an organization who won't start attacking you as soon as you disagree with them too. And to exec, I hope that you do better. I hope that you be better. You're getting paid to do this, and frankly, it's embarrassing as someone who contributes to that. So,
Hi, my name is Soren Starkey. I'm a junior political science. I'm currently and I'm not here to comment on whether or not treasurer, but rather to say that members of the Senate are the ones who voted her off by a 2/3. This has absolutely nothing to do with the judicial panel. The judicial panel was not the entity that removed Treasurer Bobcat from the Senate. And so redirecting your issues with the student Senate and the people on the Senate who were voted in by the student body is not an issue that the judicial panel has. And I would also like to say that the continued assertion that the judicial panel is a mostly white organization and the problems that people have with the senators who are majority white being imposed upon the judicial panel that is a third non-white is absolutely ludicrous and just completely ignores that the student Senate does not have to be majority white, and that there are issues with the Senate and with who makes up the Senate, that those are things that the student body is able to change. And again, these are not issues that need to be directed onto the judicial panel that played no role in the removal of Treasurer Bobcat.
Hi everyone, I'm Courtney Archibald. I'm a senior here. I was in Student Senate for 2.5 years. I love the position. However, I, as well as other members, noticed the toxicity and the negative implications that Senate came. Sorry to try to. I'm a Leo moon, it happens. Okay, so essentially, we have been witnessing this for 2 years. We've asked the university to step in and do something about the false accusations. It's just gone out of hand. And to see somebody so accomplished, it's just heartbreaking. Like, as somebody who cares, it's just heartbreaking to see that people are abusing their power for their own gain. And if you look at the facts, it's pretty clear, especially to somebody who's been in Senate, what's happening here. I'd also like to just say, I would wish that the judicial panel and the Senate stop blaming each other and both take equal accountability for the fact that you messed up. It's not okay what happened, except that it's not okay what happened. Also, you should not be silencing your members. You should not be silencing people who obviously want to speak out and talk about the situation with no, threatening them with Robert's rules. Half the time, the body breaks Robert's rules. It's just, it happens. But you don't need to be threatening people and their silence and their literal right in this country to speak out when they're being harassed. So just do better, be better. Like we said, you guys are getting paid to do this. It's not just a resume booster. Please take accountability. Thank you. My name is Emily Mccarty, and I'm a junior in chemical engineering. Also, I haven't really had much time to prepare what I wanted to say, so I apologize in advance. But first and foremost, I wanted to say that I've had the opportunity of working alongside Simmer through many events and projects over the past 3 years, and some of the things that are, being said about her are true. But I think that if she weren't part of the demographic that she is, then they wouldn't be labeled that way, is what I'm trying to say. So basically, people are referring Simmer for her strong rhetoric and her tendency to disagree with the majority of Senate, which, by the way, is her job, to question things. And I would argue that if she were a white male, that would be labeled as passionate, being a passionate person. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm getting kind of nervous. But like I said, she doesn't agree with everything. And does that bother me sometimes? Of course it does. But she represents us as a people, and I'm glad that she's not representing a one-sided community like what everybody is saying that they see in Senate. Not everybody in the room should agree when we're talking about all different types of people. And if that is the case, then that's obviously problematic. I would also like to mention that people were irritated with her for not wanting to use funds for directly Senate or for personal use or for all of these things that people want them to use it for. But also that is her job. She's creating a budget and she's trying to help all the other student orgs here, like I said, because she's trying to represent the people. And if you have a problem with that, I think you kind of need to reflect on why you're in Student Senate. Is it for you? Is it for your resume? Is it to look good in an interview? Because obviously it's not for the people. Today, this meeting has just shown me that given the opportunity, the majority of underrepresented students would prefer to have someone like her in office, and I was just second.
Hello again. Two things. First thing, as a response to Ms. McCarty's comment about if she were a white male, it would be posted as ass. No, I was still an asshole, and I know all of you thought it. So that's that.
Were you voted out of your position though? Sorry.
I was not.
No,
because I was. Yeah. Anyway.
Can we start that again then, I guess? We're gonna restart the 2 minutes.
Okay. The main thing that I had down, and this is an issue that I had brought to the Student Senate many times during my tenure as Chief Justice and afterwards. But I think the majority of the issue that is occurring now stems from a misunderstanding of the procedures that the Student Senate is bound by. And that misunderstanding is either because people don't read it carefully enough, or because people don't care, or because in the moment people think that it says something that it doesn't. I also have been guilty of that on numerous occasions. But the rules are the rules, and the rules are in place for a reason, and the rules are voted upon by members of this body as being valid, as being enforceable, and as being something that should be enforced. So not understanding the rules is not an excuse for breaking them, and it is not an excuse for shaming people who want to enforce them or shaming people who do enforce them. It's a misunderstanding that needs addressed, but that's something for a different time. I reserve the balance of my time. Thank you.
Thank you.
She is on via Teams, so I'm going to turn up my computer so that everybody can hear. Esther, if you would like to speak now, you have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? I mean, at least you.
Yes.
I would just like, so my name is Esther Aulis Cabrera. I am a former Minority Affairs Commissioner, as well as a leader for the Latino community here on campus. And I would just like to say that The Student Senate has failed minority people here at Ohio University for the past 2 years that I have been involved in this campus. The Student Senate is supposed to represent all students, and the majority of all students are unhappy with Student Senate. That begs the question, what is the changes that Student Senate needs to be made? With this, I am calling for Student Senate to have an internal revision of said rules that Walter mentioned that we apparently do not understand. Because if the majority of the student body does not understand or able to correctly appreciate the rules and procedures and the Constitution and the types of way we're managing the Student Senate, then they are not being represented accurately by Student Senate. As a political science major that has worked in politics, campaigns, and elections, I can tell you right now that the real world does not work this way. When there is a problem, when students speak out, when there are virtual campaigns talking about the vote of no confidence that was made, that's a problem. And if we are going to sit here and continuously, because this happened last year, that we're going to continuously sit here and talk about the way that Student Senate removes and doesn't remove their commissioners, their treasurers, we're going to have a problem time and time again. So I call for a revision of the Student Senate body as well as their rules and constitution, because this is a continuous issue. And I also call for a public apology of the Student Senate, because of regardless of whether or not a vote of no confidence
I'm
was
so sorry, but oh.
I'm not really. There's been a tax on people. It's not who you might think. My friend Chief Justice Fleming has been repeatedly attacked on social media and through DMs for actions that were not her fault at all. She was simply following the rules that were set out, and she did what she was supposed to do. And the fact that people are personally attacking her is absolutely ridiculous. And Simmer wants to talk about defamation and attacks on her character when she specifically placed blame on Chief Justice Fleming and ordered people to, and basically condoned attacks on her by posting her information on social media and saying that they should talk to her about it. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't condone attacks on Simmer or on Hannah. I just, regardless of just like what's going on, open attacks on people for things that we don't understand is not okay in any way, shape, or form. And I really just don't like that people have encouraged harassment on anyone in this body. And that is all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Madison Wilson. I am the Postgrad Educational Arts Director for the Black Student Culture Program here at Ohio University. I'm also treasurer for Masters of the Minorities Association of Original Students here at Ohio University. I would like to share my personal experience and interaction with Summer Bobcat, who I've known since my inception here at Ohio University in 2019. I have the pleasure of working with her since freshman year, like I just said. She's been a tremendous support for me and my community up here who are underserved and underrepresented, not only here at Ohio University, but just in general. I said, I'm a little nervous. I was going to say that Simmer has helped us in so many meaningful ways, which speaks volumes to her character, her passion for service, and connecting with individuals with true leadership and humility. I can recall when she first began her campaign, and she directly reached out to myself, executive board colleagues, and other multicultural leaders at Ohio University to gain insight and perspective on how to be a better ally for us and our communities. I have never seen that done by any other Senate member ever, and I can say that it's the same for a lot of my colleagues. They haven't had any type of reaching out, any type of allyship directly to them or anything of the sort. I want to say, Simmer, thank you so very much. That means so very much for us. I also want to say that I've seen numerous programs and events and support in Simmer that have been there and supportive of our community. She's the only person we truly know by name, by face. She shows up and she shows out. She speaks, you know, on behalf of us to everyone in just like a high manner, and she just never fails our community. So I just want to point that out. She champions education and celebration of diverse cultures here at Ohio University and beyond. And I just want to say that just the defamation of her character and just like the question of her character is truly shameful.
Excuse me.
I just want to go on a comment that I heard earlier about Robert's rules and how there has been a lot of breaking of Robert's rules with this student senate. And that's very true, and it's happened on our own executive board on different occasions as well, which has led to misinformation and overall ignorance in proceedings altogether, that you have allowed other members of the Senate body to basically bully you into following their rules because you don't know the rules themselves. My overall feeling is disgust and embarrassment. I'm not even gonna lie to you, and it's unfortunate that it's taking place in an organization where I thought I was gonna be able to be the change from within. I want you to take note of everything that you hear being said in this room today. I don't see a lot of note taking from the executive board in general, and I'm just gonna highlight that. And I really want you to not sweep this under the rug like you swept other students speak out under the rug in the past. Acknowledge what every single person in this room has spoken about to you or addressed you about based on the information that has been released to the public. This is a situation that should not have happened, and it happened due to a lack of due process. And I reserve the balance.
Eliza, mention that these are all recorded. Mention that everything is recorded.
So I think a lot of people want to talk about the rules and how judicial panel is following the rules. Well, for once I have my handy dandy rules and procedures. Let's go to, I don't know how to read this, 4.13, removal of an executive officer. All shall receive a ballot. The President Tim 4 shall order the recording secretary to call roll of senators and executive officers. Period. All shall receive a ballot printed. Where was my ballot? I didn't vote. I didn't vote. That means 3 people did not vote. 15 people voted. 18 people should have voted. Actually, 20 people should have voted. Because at the beginning of the meeting, there's 20 people in the room. 2 people left because they had an obligation. Okay? I'll say 18. There should have been 20. There should have been 13 yays, not 11. Okay? So if you want to talk about following process, you didn't even follow your own process. And you want to say there's an organization, judicial panel is an organization? Didn't you vote your advisor out? You don't have an advisor, you don't have a treasurer, you're not even a legitimate organization. Go into Bobcat Connect. You can see there's no treasurer, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but you did vote your advisor out, so you're not legitimate at all. So please follow your own processes that you're saying that you followed, but you didn't. Thank you. I've never had no problem. Always been very adamant for everything that always. And I feel like during the no confidence this judicial panel told us that the information was verified. So that was one of the main reasons why a lot of people probably voted like that. I'm not saying I did. But that's all I have to say. Everybody knows my time.
So I actually was going to make the same exact point as Simmer Calcat did. So I feel like this has been a trend that the people that are part of the judicial panel and executives of the Student Senate have been trying to act like all of us people who are coming in and speaking on behalf of Simmer Calcat are not informed. But I was going to read the exact same statement right out of the Rules and Procedure Handbook that you guys seem to swear by. Apparently you don't though. So section B, right where she read it, I'm just going to read it again just because obviously it wasn't understood before. The President pro tempore shall order the recording secretary to call roll of senators and executive officers. All shall receive a ballot printed with the following questions. And as we've spoken before, she and multiple other people did not receive a ballot. So I think I am actually understanding the rules, and I just wanted to make that very clear that I do not make statements uneducated. And that's all that I had to say. I am reserving the balance of my time.
When I read that statement, I said that it was not on behalf of any of our opinions or any of our parties.
My name is Odessa Robinson. I'm a junior studying communications, president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. First off, I want to say I remember people who have an impact, so maybe if you made more of an impact, I'll remember the difference between the two. I just wanted to make that clear. Second, it does not make any difference to me what ratio of 1/3 to 2/3 is white versus minority when no impact or anything has been done for the minority in general on campus. So until that starts to matter, I don't care about how many people are on campus now, so actually change my mind about that. Also, I think that it's extremely harmful to acknowledge your behavior as just you being mean to everyone instead of acknowledging how you may have implicit biases that impact the decisions you make on people and women of color. I think it's extremely harmful to just label your behavior as you being mean and it just being a quirk or a characteristic instead of something that's harmful and systemic. Next. I do not condone the behavior that has been targeted amongst any of you, like the harassment or threats or anything of that nature. But I do not think that that should have been a huge focus tonight. I'm just going to be honest. When a woman of color's life could have possibly been ruined in the process. I'm sorry that people were mean to you, but she was racially targeted. That is what matters, not your white fragility. She is Also, as someone else mentioned before, it's also not what you say, it's also your tone. We're not stupid. We can have access to the internet, look at rules, read them, learn them, same as you. You are paid here, and we look up to you to protect our minorities as well as other people who are underrepresented, and I haven't seen that. So I don't care about your rules until they start to protect the people of color that are underrepresented. I'll give the rest of the time.
I can say that I said the RNC front staff at least 5 times. I wanted to take my time to go the procedures. So as somebody who knows the document very well, I can say it's incomplete, unclear, poorly written. There might still be a comment there that's linking to something that doesn't even exist. There's typos, there's grammar mistakes. It's not that great. So to have here an organization who, especially the Judicial panel, reference that document, other people down again and again and again, even though they are more than half the time. There's been so many rule breaks where, you know, we've broken the rules and now we're going to go back and change them because that fits what we needed to do. But in instances like this, they take them word by word, they write them out so that it can keep other people down and then tell students that they don't understand what's going on because they don't get it like they do. I want to kind of echo what Danielle was saying earlier, where this is judicial panels use the same rules and procedures to stop having to, get rid of a candidate who was under investigation on multiple allegations of sexual assault 2 summers ago. They use the same document. It has not been fixed or changed to address that concern, but yet they can use it here to put down a woman of color who is successful everywhere I've ever seen her, and it's absolutely wonderful, and I reserve the balance of my time. Actually, the constant. Yes, that instance actually have for the music candidates are of anything that's improper. I a point of order at the time, the argument coming to different was that the investigation was not complete. So while it might be while they're found guilty, at the time the argument that the person had not been found guilty. Again, this is something, if you would like to speak on this, I encourage you to find the updated copy of the rules and procedures for where we outline this. That was an investigation with the police or the university. The judicial panel has their own process for investigation.
Hello, everybody. I'm a senator, SAC senator at large. I'd just like to start off by saying I'm not paid, I'm getting paid. You guys got that talk about to get paid. So please, someone point me in the right direction. But anyway, what I'd like to talk about today is accountability. And I think that we can all agree that it's important to hold executives accountable, right? Right? Okay. So I also think that it's important that we hold people who attempt to defame executives accountable. I think that, whoever made this statement against Zimmer should have said it behind their own name. I don't think that they should be able to hide behind the chief executive saying that. And I believe that our next step into rectifying the situation is to create legislation to make it so prior to a vote in executive session, a closed executive session, any statements or additional information made must be made unanonymously. And this is excluding allegations of sexual and physical assault in order to protect survivors. So I believe, I'm going to reiterate that the next step to this is to create a lack of anonymity when it comes to making statements against executives in an executive session. Thank you very much.
My name is Maurice. Hey, y'all. My name is Nicholas. I'm a senior here studying community and public health. I'm representing the MSLC, which is the Multicultural Student Coalition. I'm an SRA on campus. I'm the president of Bobcat College, and I'm a senior advisor for that. So first of all, the MSLC stands behind Simmer and will remain and notify the entities of the actions of the student senate to other people on campus, and we do stand behind you. Also, I want to address, there's a lot of facial expressions and a lot of little smirks and little side comments going on when people are talking. You asked us here to speak about how we felt, not to judge us and how we speak and whatever. And when you said that it's not an official organization because they don't have an advisor or a treasurer, you're still listed, Simmer's still listed as treasurer on Bobcat Connect. I'm looking at it right now. Also, a lack of regard. Again, the facial expressions that a lot of people are saying that are on your executive board, little side looks, giggles, and smirks. That has been pissing us off the whole night. And you think that people don't notice, and we actually do. We're paying attention to everything, every little detail as well. Also, the university preaches about being inclusive and making a place called home, but Simmer has been defamed, and her name has been tarnished. So this doesn't seem like Bobcats and seem very not inclusive, especially her being one of the color with a systemically racist institution to begin with. I feel as if that University Senate as elected officials should do a lot better, and they should be held to a higher standard than the average student because of the position that you hold and the power that you hold, as well as being in these positions. And today you have, or your actions have not been upheld to how your position. Honestly, I think that the whole judiciary committee should be, thrown away, and we should get new people. But that's just my opinion, who I know. And with that,
Yeah, it's pronounced
much, Yosri Slama. Good evening, everyone. My name is Yosri Slama. Again, I'm a third-year biological sciences pre-medicine major, minoring in business administration and French, and I'm also the president of the American Medical Student Association. Now, I do not state this to simply get on my high horse with a higher exec position. This position is a privilege to lead fellow students into greater Bobcat community. The disgusting claims made by these organizations, one of which lacks an advisor, technically excluding them from the organization list that represents Ohio University, only go to shed light on the mishandling of such position. Madam President, I want to ask you, how do you think we, as Ohio University students, leaders, and mentors, should proceed with such embarrassing oversights? You, as the president, should have the Constitution ingrained in your head, as I have that of the institution that I lead and represent. Yes, this may be a college club that you can talk about in your future jobs and interviews as resolution of conflicts, but will you be mentioning this emotional damage and borderline abuse of power you implemented on an outstanding student, colored scholar, and more importantly, a friend that assures that all are included, accepted, valued, and respected? By the way, that is posted on the Ohio University Senate website, which you seem to be unfamiliar with subsequent to your lack of leadership abilities. I reserve the balance of my time.
Hello, friends. My name is Ethan Brown, and I'm a sophomore studying sociology and economics. As may have been determined by my outfit, I've never been to one of these. I thought I needed a suit. I guess that's not true. I do apologize. That said, should I break any rules I'm unaware of, and I hope I will be swiftly and forcefully interrupted in that event. I know absolutely nothing about how any of this works, and I readily confess that I don't know nearly enough about most of the specific issues being discussed tonight to comment on them. I have no doubt, that said, that I know less about what's happening this evening than every single other person in this room. But I've been silently counting in my head since I sat down, and I personally know 37 students in this room. And I have seen the emotional toll this body has had on them, both last year and this one. Many of my friends who were in this room last year are not here today because of the way that it affected them. I have close friends in every corner of this room, and I've watched many of them on both sides bear the weight of the toxicity of this group that's been mentioned by others. I've watched friends cry and lose sleep and not feel safe in this space. I'm now out of notes because I ran out of time. But I will say that it's difficult for me, as so many of your friends and so many people here that don't know me, I'm sorry, I'll sit down in a minute. But it's difficult watching some of the brightest, most passionate and driven students in this entire campus. I'm convinced the IQ in this room is off the charts, and I know that every person here really does care about the students on this campus and hopefully cares about each other. I don't know anything else about who's right or wrong. I just sat down in the middle because this seemed like an open spot. But I just want to say I'm really sorry to those who have been hurt by this group, and I really hope we can do better because I know so many people here, like I said, on both sides that are doing their best, and I think we can do better. So, yeah, I'm gonna sit down. I reserve the balance of my time.
I think a lot of people in this room, I've seen my Instagram story, but a lot of people don't even know how truly deep everything has gotten. And I'm just genuinely so confused. I understand you had to read the tip or whatever. I want to understand what was the verification, okay? And then the individuals who sent that tip, I know are sitting in this room. So if you said it so matter of fact, please come forward. Why did you think that was so true? Or did you know it wasn't true, but you knew I wasn't going to be in the room, so you sent it anyways? That's my question. Second of all, we keep talking about the corruption of this organization, and it's the fact that people are telling me that people are renting rooms in Baker to 3 or 4 individuals, trying to stage a coup on me, asking the chief of staff how many points I had per my violations, saying how they can run my points up to stage an impeachment trial. Make that make sense, please. I know the individuals who did that have not spoken today. So please, I'm waiting. What's the vendetta? Do you want to take my position? Or what? Please enlighten me.
because people don't even know how corrupt this entire organization is. And truthfully, I asked someone today, can we abolish student government here? Can we abolish the freaking judicial panel like somebody mentioned? This entire thing needs to be reformed. I really think abolition is the only answer at this point, because every single person is saying the exact same thing for years now. People have left Senate because of this. Okay, people have been coerced into leaving, manipulated into leaving, attacked into leaving. So please, like, make this make sense. And you guys understand that in Senate, there's only like 15, 20 people. Why is everyone else sitting in this room? Right? Because they're passionate about maybe this situation, people have their own grievances, but why? Why isn't anything being changed? And I keep mentioning this corruption, but yet the individuals are hiding behind computers and sending in anonymous referrals to the judicial panel because they can't say it to anyone's face.
Point of order, if I may. Yeah, point of order. Speaking as Chief of Staff, I have never heard anyone ask me regarding Treasurer Colcat's points. Those are confidential, as it is with every single senator, executive officer, or anyone who is in this position. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Another, because I think that's actually correct. I'm pretty sure I was there when that actually happened.
My point of order, I'm sorry, but point of order, no one asked me. I'm about to leave.
Hello, my name is Bobcat Pledge. I don't think my credentials matter, but I have to say these classes. I hope every single one of you. First of all, why do you guys expect us to sympathize with Hannah when you did not stand up to them?
Again, please direct everything to me as chairperson.
What?
Please direct every question to me as chairperson,
Okay,
and I'll delegate.
But why do you expect us to extend courtesy, kindness to Hannah, but not to us? And if you keep on talking about how you guys make mistakes, so are you not thinking about the fact that it's going to follow Hannah for her entire career? This is not a joke. This is someone's life. Being held accountable is not being harassed. I do not want any of you guys here using your white tears to make us sympathize with any single one of you. So do not expect us to feel bad for you, because you brought this upon yourself. You cannot be careless when it affects someone's livelihood and character. And I'm noticing that the individual right here is releasing all this information when you have 2 days to clear Simmer's name. But you're trying to backtalk the people who are talking out right now. Why is this? Why am I just hearing all this information right now? PR, you need to do your work. What you did is make a worky flyer university when it's someone's life. This is not funny. So I am appalled, I am disgusted by unprofessionalism and the hypocrisy by every single one of you guys here right now.
Abby, I'm not sure if you are still on the call, but you had your hand raised, and it is your turn to speak now, if you would like to.
I am, thank you. My name is Abby Jeffers, and I am a senior in journalism, and I would like to not only voice my unwavering support for Simmer, but also to ask whoever is sitting at the front of the room to stop texting. We can hear you on Teams, we can hear the iMessage sounds, and it is downright disrespectful. It shows your lack of attention and lack of respect in this moment, and after all of the harm you have caused Simmer, she deserves that at least. I reserve the balance of my time.
Point of order, that is me. I will admit to that because I'm texting my Assistant Chief of Staff, Nadia, who's in line, who has their hand raised. I can call across the room if you'd prefer me to do that instead. I'm sorry.
some of the things I was going to say have actually already been mentioned, and I think that the point that was being made was not directed towards you, but rather towards Hannah Fleming for texting multiple different people. As I can see, because some of the messages are green and some of them are blue, so I know it's different people. It's not just someone in this room. Also, we were getting our names on the. Yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah, people want to see that. All I have to say is that I've been watching it for the past hour. I don't know how long we've been in here, hour and a half. And it definitely wasn't just a couple of names being sent back and forth, first of all. Second of all, that isn't even what I'm trying to say. What I am trying to say is that, as we can see, the only people defending these executives are the executives. We understand that they're not representing anybody in this room other than themselves. Like, we need to abolish this government. Who voted for these people? Kick me out of this meeting if you want. I literally don't care. But I am a passionate student, and I want all of my friends and faculty and everybody to know that this organization does absolutely nothing for its students other than the four of you. So congratulations. Well, I will be leaving. Thank you.
Sorry, you have your hand up. If you would like to speak, you have 10 minutes whenever you're ready. Sorry, 2 minutes, I'm so sorry, 2 minutes.
2 minutes, that's all right. I'll keep it short and sweet because I don't even go to the Ohio University, but I've had the pleasure of knowing Simmer for a few years now. And it was my sophomore year in college where I began to feel an imposter syndrome at my institution. I'd constantly think, as the only turban-wearing student on my campus, is it really worth keeping it? Why don't I ditch the turban altogether and blend in with the crowd? Through the levels of discussion I had with Simmer, I came to the realization that her intellectual capacity has the power to intimidate and educate individuals. On a personal level, I was definitely going through a tough time. As a member of the Sikh faith, it was Simmer who unconsciously reminded me that my turban stands for the constant reminder to stand for social justice, human liberty, and equality. It was through these conversations that I reconnected with my faith and came out stronger in my core beliefs. Today, I'm a member of VSG's Diversity and Inclusion Committee here at Vanderbilt University, which is a group which focuses on fostering an atmosphere of inclusivity on our campus. I was at absolute awe to hear about the situation at a school known as one of the top character building institutions in all of America. Is this how you maintain that solid reputation? Thank you.
Maurice, yeah, I'm a diversity leadership ambassador too. I forgot to mention that. So I'm very passionate about diversity. But on Bobcat Connect, it has a lot of discrepancies. So I know for sure this has not been updated in a while. Because listed still is Jenny Hall Jones as an advisor. And I know for a fact that Jenny Hall Jones does not work here anymore, and she does not work here all semester because I work in housing and res life, and I got an email saying, changing vice president. She went to school in Michigan, so that needs to be updated. So this organization really should not be an organization. So really, nothing that they're saying matters. Also, a lot of things that we're saying tonight aren't really being taken in because a lot of attitude is still being given towards the consensus. And again, we're just here because we're passionate students. We're not dumb students. We're smart students. Clearly, we're in college, and everybody has a difficult major, for what I've heard. And the main push of Ohio University this year has been make respect visible, and there's been little to no respect given. So I don't understand why people assume that they're going to get respect back. And everybody's been very calm so far, and I understand why the lady right there, she was very passionate. So I went there, but I feel as if elected officials, you should be held to a higher standard once again. And you are the face of the university, quote unquote, because you are student government, but you're not really doing a good job of representing the students or what we stand for. And then being disrespectful to the people who, you're supposed to govern. It tells a lot about your character, and a lot about the things that you've done at Ohio University. And this makes me sad to be a Bobcat. And I thought I would never say that to a group of Bobcats, but this is really ridiculous. And with that, I reserve the remainder of my time.
I know I said I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm just passionate about this. I see a lot of passion in the room, and I respect that, and I respect it. A couple of different things. I want to address a comment made by Commissioner Gillette that her position will remain in Senate, and she wants to encourage everyone, especially people of color, to apply to Senate. My position is temporary as of right now. I believe that if our overall drive and passion towards our mission that was originally stated for Ohio University Senate, if it does not change, I will be leaving my position, and it hurts me because I've always been a strong believer in change from within, especially looking at a predominantly white institution that has done its demographics wrong for so many years before me getting here. I'm a first year, so it's all different accounts from other individuals. And it pains me that there's juniors, seniors who still feel the same way that I'm experiencing by coming on this campus. If you have a point of order, I please ask you to wait till I'm done because I do not want to be interrupted. But I do want to address the comment about not discussing any point in a specific meeting. I remember a meeting that we had originally towards the beginning of the year addressing the coup that Simmer is discussing of certain members within Student Senate right now trying to find a way to accumulate points for Simmer to get her out of office. This was last semester, and it didn't come to because obviously, like, it didn't go anywhere. But it's the fact that it happened, period, and I could name individuals in this room who were in that conversation. The timing is disgusting of when Senator Jentz was appointed as off-campus affairs commissioner. You cannot tell me right now and explain to me that wasn't because you don't want him in the treasurer position. The timing of that is shady. The timing of the time that you received the anonymous tip, if you didn't do an investigation, why present it to the body? That's my question. Don't point of order, wait for the point of order, wait for the point of order. I'm sorry, I just really do not want to be interrupted in this moment. If you could respect me, I would appreciate that. But the timing, it's shady. To be quite honest, it's shady. And to defend you, I can't even. Because looking at the facts that are presented to an entire campus, come on now. You did this to a woman of color, and that pains me the most. And I reserve the balance of my time.
Again, that was not a statement by the judicial. That was a statement that I read anonymously, and I said that it does not come obligation to investigate.
Regardless if the statement was from the judicial panel, if you knew you didn't do an investigation on it, and it was a random anonymous tip before a vote, that was going to decipher whether she held her position or not. Why read it aloud if you didn't know there was true?
As a chairperson, that is my authority to do so. Anybody in that discussion should have.
Your common knowledge should tell you not to do something like that. Sorry,
Okay, I promise this is the last time I'm going to speak. After the whole entire night, I just have a couple things to point out. So I joined Student Senate. I was vice commissioner of the LGBTQ community. I actually worked with Lavina over here, who's now commissioner. One of the reasons I joined is because I wanted to represent students. My freshman year, I was actually hate crimes for being gay. And I really did not like that because on this campus, I wanted to feel safe. So I joined Student Senate to represent students. That was my sole position, was to represent students. And tonight, all of these students have came here to represent her because she represents us. And the only thing that I have heard is people on Senate trying to defend themselves. If all of these students are here saying we have a problem, it should be, well, these are the rules and regulations. No, it should be changed so that students feel better and feel represented. That's exactly what should happen. You guys should be having an exec meeting discussing throwing that whole book away because it is disgusting. That book doesn't represent everybody. As she said over here, it has grammatical errors. Anybody that tries to read it.
Point of order. Find one. Make grammatical.
Yes, I did pause it as soon as a point of order.
I don't need 2 more minutes.
Okay.
You're good. I'm almost done. My point is, that book, if any of you try to read it, it is extremely confusing. So it's not a book for the students. It's this sorry, whatever you want to call it, it's disgusting. It really is. There's so many issues with it. When I was in Student Senate, there was too many issues with it. It's not a book for students. You guys aren't representing the students. You guys are trying to save your asses right now. That's exactly why you released the statement 10 minutes before this meeting, because you knew there was a huge issue and a bunch of students were coming. And now that we're all here, you guys need to be representing us and making a change so that we feel represented. And that is the only girl that I know on Student Senate right now that represents other people. Look at all these other committees that have told you she represents them and that she's one of the only people that they know that cares. That's an issue that there's only one person on Student Senate that represents a whole body, not just Student Senate themselves. I reserve the balance.
The multicultural organization coalition for that fully stand behind Simmer. I wish you guys would have a formal document that was demanding changes. I'm hearing non-professional. Also, I just want to say the lack of professionalism is universal. This is a student speak out, and I really don't like that I'm hearing responses from people that are not students speaking out. To be quite honest, one thing that I've learned in my position is that the students actually mean something. There are people that are going to be here to be all these. The president of multiple organizations, I value my students because they're from my organization like this. So just be mindful of that. You know, those meetings called students speak out, and you guys are rebuttaling everything the students say. What else was I going to say? Oh, second thing. Someone told me to say that you guys want people to join Student Senate, people of color, but look how you treat people of color. Look at all the people of color in the room. I'm confident, like, I would love to join Student Senate, but August 30th, I'm out. But look at the message you're showing to the future students of color, how you're treating a student of color, a woman of color. As another woman of color, I'm going to let you know this now. I'm highly respected at this university, and I'm going to get my duty for these last 8 weeks to let you guys know what you're doing wrong. I'll make it my duty that when I leave, you guys are still going to be reminded of what you did wrong. I'll make it my duty that other entities, that other universities, that other faculties, that other staffs will remember what you guys did wrong, what you guys did December, because that is unfair. I need you guys to acknowledge that racism is real. That you guys might not realize it, but racism is in you. Racism is in all of us. Bias is in all of us. Just because you don't think it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So just a reminder of that. Hey, always, I'm going to forget it's not going.
Esther, you have your hand up. If you would like to speak, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I am speaking again for the second time today to bring up another point that I had that I did not raise the first time I spoke. The Student Senate here at Ohio University is racist. And that has been, once again, brought up and reiterated in this meeting. Last year, I was a commissioner that was so excited to serve the Student Senate as well as the Ohio University because I enjoy being at the school and I enjoy representing the Latinos at this university. As a minority affairs commissioner, I was slighted, ignored, and pushed down by executive members last year. And I hoped with my heart that this year it would be different, that there would be change with a new administration. I have been proven wrong by the attitudes, responses by this administration. You, Madam President, are in charge of this administration. You are the leader. Do something. Act like a leader. I am calling for a reformation of the rules and procedures and Constitution of Student Senate to accurately represent students at Ohio University, not just the white students who want something fancy on their resume like Student Senate. We have all witnessed, whether on Teams or in person, the way that the Student Senate as an institution has slighted some former Treasurer Samir Kalkat, and nobody has said anything. Not a single person has checked their tone, checked their derogatory terminology in reference to the situation, and it is completely unprofessional. And if another person of color acted like that, we would not have the positions we are now, and we would not even be at this university because it takes twice as much from a person of color to get to the point that Simmer Kalkat got to, and it is truly embarrassing to see the treatment that all people of color have gone through by Student Senate, and especially tonight, Simmer Kalkat. I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you.
speak out a lot, but then kind of took time to kind of like take everything in. I just kind of noticed a couple things. The reason why all these people of color have to take instances, no matter what your bylaws say, clearly your bylaws are inherently racist. It was never made to work for people of color, so maybe that's why we need to change them and not just fix the grammatical errors, even if they work there. But no matter if you change the commas or anything, they're not gonna work for us because they were not made for us. Also, just because you have 1/3 people of color does not mean something is not majority people of, majority white people. Because even in this room, even the people who feel paid to speak out, they're still majority white. So just a microcosm of that. And also, I'm not really sure if anyone's name here, like I said, who came because I kind of seen the records on campus. But I believe someone has said that they have referred to her as like very loud spoken and things like that. But clearly, you have been shown the same type of behavior as her is not worse. But clearly, the reason you can do it is because of your like white privilege and the fact that you're just a white man with penis. I'm sorry to tell you that. Because if she was to do that, even though she's passionate and she has been debating and all those things, she still is being looked down upon you all. But you're showing, if not 10 times worse behavior, and it's just accepted and no one else is saying anything. Yeah, that's all I have.
So, people keep making points of order that, Chief Justice had to say this anonymous tip, right? But, this entire confidence order, like I said, I have this out now. Under rules and procedures of 4.13, removal of an executive officer from office under Article 5, Chapter 5 of the Senate Constitution, right? It says 2/3 votes, no confidence, whatever. Please tell me where it says in there that you can read anonymous tips given to the judicial panel. Like, legitimately tell me that.
For point of order, it's
Yes.
the Robert Rules of Order.
Okay, where?
Look it up.
Oh, yeah, okay, I will.
I think you should have a desert try.
I did actually trigger
Can I speak? I had my hand up for quite some time.
Yes, you were right after Simmer. So as soon as Simmer finished her point, it was going to be you next.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course, of course.
I did have the section in the Robert Rules of Order sent out to members of the Senate, which you posted on your Instagram story. So if you'd like, you can just look at your own story and see that.
Okay.
Let's keep conversation respectful and continue to actually answer questions. Who was next on the line?
Simmer, you still have 1 minute and 23 seconds.
At this time, I'm going to reserve the balance of my time, but this isn't the last you're going to hear from me, definitely.
Nyla, you are next.
Hello, everyone. Can you turn the camera, Simmer? Because I would like to see the people that I'm addressing. So you put it down a little bit. Okay, perfect. So hello, everyone. My name is Nyla Mustafa. I am a second-year law student at Howard University School of Law. I'm a 2018 alum of Howard University. This had come to my attention as well as a group of alumni, and I just want to let you know this issue is spreading, and it's not only at Ohio University anymore, but we are very, very disgusted by what has occurred at Ohio University. I have not actually never met, as well as the alum, the person who had to face these very.
Nyla, somehow you got muted. I promise I did not mute you.
Okay.
I will reset your time. I am so sorry about that. Please continue on.
And so, as stated, I'm an alum of Ohio University. I'm a second-year law student. This had come to a group of alum attention, and we are very, very, very disturbed by the actions that occurred. And none of us even know the student who's actually facing what's going on. We have a question for you all. Who do you all think you are in your positions? I mean, I want to let you all know that your student positions are at Ohio University, but after Ohio University, you all have careers that you all want to partake in. Student Senate is like, as I stated, it's only at Ohio University. A lot of you on Student Senate, I was on Student Senate, you all want to be law students, right? A lot of us are your future connections who you will meet. So watch how you treat people at Ohio University, because every single person's name on Student Senate right now is getting thrown around to alum. Watch how you treat people. Someone just responded that she should read the Roberts rules or something within that. I couldn't really hear that well, but why couldn't you just provide it to her? Why couldn't you tell her what it stated? That was a smart ass answer. It was a smart answer that you had given her. Alum are watching this. It's not okay what you're doing. You all are soon to be law students. You'll have to interpret documents. You all aren't interpreting your own documents correctly. Interpret them correctly if you're going to interpret them. And if you all need help, you all have advisors who can help you. And this is only coming from experience as an alum of the institution. And once again, we don't even know the person who faced these disgusting actions. But you all need to take time to review the documents and review them correctly. And you all need to understand that as undergrad students, your career does not stop here. Your name travels. So if you want to have good connections, you need to treat people right. Treat everyone right. I understand that Ohio University is a predominantly white institution, but your name travels. Every single person who had done those questionable things to her, I have the list of names. Alum, have the list of names. And I'm speaking for a group of alums here. Treat people right, because your names are being thrown around.
Mia, you have your hand up. If you would like to speak, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you so much. Ciao, my name is Mia Walsh. I am a second-year journalism student here at OU, and I'm currently 5,000 miles away studying abroad through Ohio University. And I stayed awake until 3 a.m. nearly to say that this entire procedure has been stomach turning. I'm absolutely sick to my stomach. I'm calling for mass education across the board for Student Senate on microaggressions, because the tone is tangible from across the entire ocean. The attitude, the disrespect, respect is not being made visible right now. And I am absolutely disgusted to be a Bobcat. I am absolutely disgusted. I will not be wearing green and white for the remainder of my session abroad, because I am not pleased to be a Bobcat in the way that any of this has happened. And I'm just very upset at the hostility in everybody's tone. And as Nyla just said,
I think she got disconnected. I promise you, it said leaving. I think she just got disconnected. As soon as she joins again, I will be monitoring that. I will make sure that she will speak next, no matter who is kind of speaking, if everybody is okay with that in the room. Okay, thank you.
Democracy does not function without two things. That's contestation and participation. And that is two things that Student Senate at Ohio University is lacking right now. We have enough positions in the Ohio University Student Senate for every single person in this room, right? How many of those are actually filled? I think that is sad for Bobcat community, that our Student Senate is struggling to fill positions that we're just handing out like hotcakes. So I challenge every single one of you who want to see change, who actually want to see change, to come down here next week or whenever, get in touch with Student Senate and put yourself in one of these chairs and fill those positions and contest these executives, and then you can make the change that you want to see. And this opportunity is open to everybody, and it's really easy, to sit back and complain, but it's not easy to actually go out and do it. So, we can attack everybody all that we want, but until somebody actually goes and puts their life on the line, put their name on the line, just like Simmer did, right? Until you all do that, change is not going to happen.
Excuse me. Oh, so sorry. I did not. Mia is back online. So if everybody is okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell her that she can continue on with her statement. Mia, I'm so sorry about that. If you don't mind, I'll restart the clock and you can have your full 2 minutes again.
thank you so much for that. I did lose my voice a little bit there, but that is just because I am very upset. So I apologize for my tone. But just overall, I'm very disappointed in the conduct of this board. And I came in a little late because I was kicked out of the call. But from what I heard, I don't know who was speaking. It sounded like somebody who was on Student Senate. It is our job as a student body to elect you, but then it is also your job as a student, as a board to like represent us. And so turning it around on us, like saying, oh, like you need to run if you want to see change. You are the change that we elected, and we put our hopes in you, and you are letting us down. And so it may not be our names that ran, but I think I will turn it back on you and say, do some introspection on why it is that you ran. I reserve the balance of my time.
The call to order while people are talking is completely disrespectful. And we don't want us to interrupt you all. So the fact that you keep interrupting us is unprofessional and inappropriate. Also disrespectful. You all are hiding behind your titles and sitting in these chairs behind these titles and thinking that you're big dogs or stroking your ego or whatever you want to say is doing. But in the real world, like those titles don't mean anything. You're not making friends. You're making a lot of enemies by interrupting people. And again, you all are elected. So just as fast as you got elected to these positions, somebody else can take them just by the unpopularity of you all. And I feel that you can wait until the end of their statement or their 2 minutes are up to say call to order because whatever you're going to say, you're not going to forget. You have paper, you have your laptop in front of you, you can write it down. But to keep continuously interrupting the same people over and over is getting old, and people are going to keep talking out because of that. You don't want us to do it, so don't do it. Again, respect is given, not earned. Make respect visible. So it starts with you all as student leaders on campus. I mean, we're all student leaders in some shape or form, but as student senate student leaders, you should all, respect that. And you keep saying Robert's rule this, Robert's rule that. In Robert's rule, you motion to speak. And then again, somebody said something about Robert's rule, but in Robert's rule, it says 2/3 of the seated body, not a consensus of the body. So in order for that vote to have taken place, it should have been 2/3 of the entire student senate and not 2/3 of the people that were here. So that vote really shouldn't even count and shouldn't even, mean anything if we're being technical and we're using Robert's rules and we're going by these laws and bylaws and whatnot. But thank you.
First point of order, parliamentary procedure allows points of order to interrupt the speaker. That is the point of them. Second point of order, the rules and procedures of the Student Senate overrides Robert's Rules of Order when the Rules and Procedures speaks on it, and our Rules and Procedures specify that it is 2/3 of present senators and executive officers, not seated. And there's a differentiation within the document between present and seated. Or, yes, present and seated. There's a difference.
Where does that state that at? I'm sorry.
I'm out of practice. I have not been in the position in a couple of years, but that would be something I will.
Chapter 4, section 3.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Point of order. I believe the Constitution says seated, but the rules and procedures say present. So is that an error or am I misreading something? But we all looked at this. So the Constitution says seated, rules and procedures say present. So which one is it?
Point of order. I mentioned it earlier in my statement that if you believe this is unjustified, you should go to the judicial panel. I feel like I should mention once again that both that complaint about the difference between present and seated and the earlier complaint.
Can you put the camera on him, please? I'm sorry, but I can't.
And the earlier, I shouldn't use the word complaint, raised issue
about the executive officers, although I am not currently a member of the judicial panel, would both be legitimate grounds for the refutation of the vote. I highly encourage someone who cares about that to bring that before the judicial panel, because both of those could potentially be very legitimate reasons for the vote to be made invalid. Again, I'm not here with an opinion. I was going to not say one in the first place, but at this point, I've gotten so many comments against me that I feel like I should. I honestly don't think the grounds, personally, were legitimate to remove former Treasurer Samar. I was just here because I know the RMP really too well, and I also want to mention 2 points. One, earlier when you saw me giggle, I was laughing because I spent 2 months investigating that white male for derelict of duty and was then repeatedly, privately, and publicly harassed because of that allegation. So I was actually in agreement with you because I got a lot of vitriol for bringing that charge against him. I can't remember what my second point was now that I said that. I'm going to stop talking.
Point of order, I think the issue with the government is nice.
Point of order, since it was directed to me, I'll make it quick because I speak next anyways. Yeah, it wasn't the fact. I think the fact was that this is such a serious situation, and no matter what I'm saying, it shouldn't have been a giggle when it's coming like for Semmer's position about her future and stuff. I know that there was a lot of drama with that situation. I think my reasoning behind it was these situations were so similar in the fact of mishandling the funds and false accusations that I didn't understand the difference in the decision unless it had something to do with her being a person of color or a vendetta against her. That was my whole point. So.
Okay.
Hi everyone. I'm going to say because it makes me feel more comfortable. My name is Desiree Settle. I'm a third-year marketing major. I'm also the vice president of the Black Student Cultural Programming Board here at Ohio University. I'd just like to say I'm really disgusted with the actions of students in it, and I fully stand behind Simmer. I've had the pleasure of working with her on multiple projects. The Welcome Weekend concert that we held earlier last year, she was behind that. Her professionalism really stood out to me. She was amazing. Every time I've interacted and worked with her, she's really cared about the students, and especially multicultural students. She really represents a diverse population here at Ohio University. And I don't see that same caringness from the rest of the students. And I think she was really one of the only people who really cared and went out her way to reach out to multicultural students at this university. So it just kind of speaks volumes, what she's done to her. It kind of really reflects for the rest of the multicultural student body population here at OU. So I just want to say I'm just really disgusted. I'm just disgusted. There's nothing more to say. I reserve to balance my time.
I just wanted to point out something that I heard earlier. What's your name? I'm sorry, PR. You're PR, right? Okay, what's your position? Okay, what's your name? Hannah? Okay, Hannah. I do want to apologize if you feel threatened by any of us or if you've been getting harassment. I don't think that was Simmer's intentions whatsoever. But I want to use my white privilege right now. If I was sitting in your chair and after hearing all of this and hearing all of the accusations, all of the information you're getting, as a person that is white, if I would be sitting in your position right now, the only thing I would be doing, I would not be saying, look it up yourself. I would be apologizing because what happened, you might have not wanted all of this to happen. I get that. But what happened was you possibly, and not just you, the board possibly ruined her future. If I was in that position where I was the one who came forward with that, the only thing I would be doing as a white person would be sitting in that chair saying, Simmer, I'm sorry, I hear you, let's get this fixed. That's it. I wouldn't be telling her to look it up. I wouldn't be trying to defend myself. I know you are probably hurt. You had people come at you. I get that. But Simmer has a future. You have a couple weeks and it's going to go away. Simmer has a future. This is going to be on her record forever. And you gave that look that it might not go away. I bet you I don't know his name, I bet that he is not getting threats still over what happened over a year ago. And if he is, I'm sorry, but this is going to last her whole life. When you graduate, nobody's going to remember who you are, not to be mean, but nobody's gonna remember. But that's gonna stick on her for the rest of her life. So the only thing I'd be doing as a white person sitting in that chair is apologizing and trying to fix the horrible things that have happened. So I reserve the balance of my time.
Sorry, Nyla? Oh, okay. Yeah, yes, Nyla. If you you had your hand up, and I just want to make sure it was up and then down and then up again. So I want to make
Yeah,
sure.
no, I just have a couple of things to say. So I just want to be clear. You all don't feel threatened or harassed. Like, let's state facts. You all are gaslighting. You don't feel threatened. No one is harassing you. She has a voice. She can use it. She felt like something that occurred was unjust. It wasn't okay. It was questionable. So she spoke up for herself. And now you all are accusing her of harassing you. You all don't feel harassed. So let's not gaslight. Let's not gaslight her. Let's not gaslight the people who had come out and spoke for her. It's not okay. You all are undergrad students. You have alum looking at what you are doing. You are wrong. Apologize. That's all you all had to do. You all are making it worse for yourself. I sat here the entire time. Alum are here. We're here listening to you all. We've been here. I have assignments that I could be doing right now. I'm in law school. I sat here and took time out of my day because I wanted to hear I'm sorry, an apology. None of you have given that yet. Not one of you. That speaks about you. I would like to directly ask, and I want a direct answer from every single person on this board before I leave the call. What are you all going to do moving forward? I don't want another person to speak. I want a direct answer from all of you moving forward. Can I please get an answer on that? Who is on the executive board? Can you all introduce yourself, and can you please state what you all are going to do moving forward?
I'll take that question as chairperson and president. My name's Becky Eliza Ivan. I go by my middle name, so that's why it's like Eliza. But so I was waiting until like the end to hear you all out to say this. But Simmer, this is the first time that I've heard that there were meetings in Baker, and I am so sorry that I did not know about that. I did not know there were. I did not. And I'm disgusted to hear that. It's so upsetting to hear that. I don't know why that was not brought to me. I'm sorry that we did not react faster. I'm sorry that there was a disconnect between our governing documents. I completely agree when you guys are saying that it needs to be reevaluated. To see the student body come, you guys are pulling up the rules and procedures and you're not even in Senate. Like, so that shows that to a student that is not a part of this body, it's not catering to them. We have plans to meet with judicial panel, go through each one, really dissect it. I'm honestly expecting it to be hours long, which is okay. But I agree we need to do better. And if some leaders in here.
So with respect to this situation, what are you all going to do moving forward? Just a clear, concise answer. With respect to this exact situation, what are you all going to do about the student who this is against? What's happening moving forward? Like, not the sorries. You can pull her aside. You two grown women, right? Young women. Pull her aside, apologize. Right now, I'm an alum. I just want to know, what are you all going to do moving forward? A clear answer, just a very clear answer.
Because you're examining the governing documents, and noticing all these discrepancies, it's unclear. We've been looking for an answer, and it's so frustrating that.
Okay, so another follow-up question: who all is involved in the process of making these determinations?
We have our advisors, which include the dean and the vice president of student affairs, and we have our graduate advisor, and it is also the executive members along with judicial panel.
Okay, one last question. What will happen, right, if we see that these people made false accusations against her? What will happen to those people? Okay, so look, listen, you don't even have to mention the handbook to me, because morals are morals and ethics are ethics. So what's going to happen to the people who made false accusations? Like, what is that judicial process like? I just want to know that. And I promise, I'm only an alum. I've never met her. I have never met her. I am just so thrown. I'm just so disgusted by what happened, and it just comes to my attention as a law student. I just really want to know. I'm just very curious what's going to happen to the people who made false accusations. Because in the real world, that doesn't work. You can't make false accusations about people. So can you answer that question for me? And I also would like to say, in no way, shape, or form, you're only doing your job as president, right? So I don't know you personally either. So this isn't an attack on you in no way, shape, or form. I just want clear answers for her, because this is it's not appropriate, right? So I'm putting my feelings aside. I just want answers. I'm not feeling any kind of way, because I don't even know the parties involved. But right is right and wrong is wrong, right? So what's going to happen to the people who made false accusations?
I personally do not have the answer for that as president, but maybe judicial panel has an answer.
Okay, all right, well, I have a follow-up. Can you all put out a statement against, can you all update us on what's going on and what happened with respect to the people who made false accusations? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have an answer to her original question of the follow-up home?
Do I personally?
Yeah, she said that judicial panel would have the answer to yours.
I don't know. This is something the judicial panel is looking into, and we aren't allowed to comment on active investigations.
It's been a week. You have it's been a week. And you had this information after the meeting was over. It's been a week.
We've been contacting several people to try to figure this out.
Who have you contacted?
One of
Order.
them.
I'm order.
Sure, yeah, we've contacted all the members of Senate. We have been working closely with the assistant dean, and we're doing our best to figure this out. We're just waiting on answers.
I just have a question.
Point of order.
Point of order, I have a question. Are you investigating who breached this quote-unquote confidentiality, or are you investigating the false accusations that removed me from my position? Which one are you doing? Are you doing the one that you realize that hurt your guys' reputation because somebody was a whistleblower that told me what actually was happening in this room? Or are you going to investigate the actual accusations? Which one is it? Those are two different investigations. So which one are you doing right now?
We're looking into
both?
Yeah.
The only point of order, the only emails that I've received as you contacting students that have been about the breach of confidentiality and not the actual accusation itself. So do you have documentation of your supposed emails that you sent regarding the actual investigation of the material and not just the breach of confidentiality?
It's private information we can't share.
You just said you contacted the student senate. You contacted the member of the student senate. You just said that.
Please
about
let everyone
this
finish their
investigation, and you did not. You contacted us about the breach of confidentiality.
There are specific members that we've contacted that I'm not going to name because we're
Okay, so can I get some of their time? Whoever is speaking, can you throw me your balance really quick?
I'm so sorry. I'm not sure if you're trying to bounce off of Commissioner Robinson or Simmer or Chief Justice Fleming. I'm sorry. I just want to know. Okay, go ahead, I guess.
I just have one follow-up question. So in the statement you all made, you said, therefore, the removal of Simmer from her position as treasurer is void. What does that mean?
So I will take that question. So it means that because it was conducted and we found a discrepancy after, it means that it no longer applies. And
so Simmer is still treasurer right now. Is she still in her position?
Yes.
Okay, and she's back in her position, just to be clear, because you all made a mistake, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You had a point of order.
Point of order.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to clear the air because I have worked with Madam President. I know personally that she does, at least in my opinion, does try to advocate for everybody. She's one of the only people in Senate that actually help the LGBTQ community with our events. I just want to clear the air that a lot of things are being pointed to her. Just know that it's not just her, and I do have confidence that she will investigate this and that she will look into this and that she does actually care. So when I personally am talking about people on Senate that don't care, I'm not directing this to the president. She was one of the people that I believe does care. And when she says she's going to do something, I do think that she will do it. And if not, then I will be mistaken. I'm mistaken. So I just wanted to talk about it.
Who's that someone?
Hey y'all. I just want to jump in again and just to remind people of the power in the room, and I'm not talking about any other people. I'm specifically talking about the Black students in the room. I just want to read off some of the credentials that I know about, and I'll finish with myself. So sitting next to me is Noelle. She's the president of the Minority Association of Breakout Students. Here's Dana. She's the president of the Unified Sisters, Shay, and what else? And we're in Torchwell. Across the river over there is my girl Maurice. Maurice and I have been peer mentors for 4 years now. Oh, that's awesome. Maurice is also a part of MAPS. Maurice is the president of being back in college. What else am I missing, Maurice? He's an RA. He's an RA. Diversity and Inclusion Officer. We have Nia. Nia is the president of the Black Student Communication Caucus. Am I correct? Yeah. Nia is also the president of the Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Am I correct? Yeah. Who else am I missing? Desiree. Desiree is the VP of the Black Student BSCPB. Almost messed up there. And also myself, like I said before. Who else? DeMarjay is the president of BSCPB. There's a lot of power in this room. And please remember that what you guys did today and what you guys do tomorrow will never be forgotten because all of our voices are extremely strong. And just to finish with myself, I'm not for clout, not for flex at all. But I'm the president of the Multicultural Student Organization Coalition. This organization that some of us started a few years ago to represent and to respect and keep the multicultural experience here. I'm also the president of Woman to Woman. We focus on the sisterhood of minority women here at Ohio University. And also just to throw my major in there, I'm a chemical engineering major. I'm the president of the National Society of Black Engineers. I'm super connected here at Ohio University. And so just being a peer mentor for 4 years, being a RA for housing and residence life for 2.5 years. So please remember that the credentials in this room are not with you guys, that's with us. And that we will never, ever let what happened here, no matter how many times we apologize, we forget it. Because the connection that we have, we are heavily more connected than you guys believe. So after this, there will be emails sent to multiple people, to multiple industries, to multiple entities.
I didn't think I was going to speak again tonight. I don't really have anything prepared. I would like to say though, as made earlier that nobody is in Senate, there's a reason for that. I'm just going to say it. I was in Senate for 2.5 years. There are many former student Senate members in this room right now that are currently students and not student Senate for a reason. Okay? So, how would you expect somebody to join your organization when it's not even welcoming to the people in it? First of all. Second of all, not to target anybody in the room, but there were points made during elections and whatnot about how rules and procedures were going to be changed, especially after what happened last year with the white male that was in question and the false accusations. This has been going on for a year. What's the common denominator? Thank you.
Well, I just really wanted to say, I know I work with many of you in various positions, and I see the power that you all have. You all are extremely powerful, and being here is incredible emotional labor. As a representative, I will admit, I have not done my due diligence in reaching out to all of you. I have tentatively reached out to some members of SHADE, but that is it. And I fully take blame for that. I need to be reaching out to you. I know there are many of you queer people of color in this room, or on this call, and on this campus. I have not reached out to you, and I apologize right now for not doing so, and I promise I will be including you in any type of programming that I do as LGBTQ+ commissioner for the duration of my time in Senate this year. And the balance of my time.
Point of order. That is what every person in this room wants. An apology for all of you to represent every single person on this campus. That's exactly what every single person in here is asking for.
Hello again, friends. I really didn't expect this to happen this way. All right, quick couple things. First of all, this is crazy. I didn't know this happened. I didn't know this existed. This is super intense. And I just wanted to speak for a moment to those in the room who were elected or appointed to positions that have put them in the hot seat and are perhaps tired of being attacked and spending their Wednesday evenings in this pressure cooker. I don't want to be dismissive of those who fought and worked super hard for the positions they now hold or for the futures that this means for them. But I also do want to assure everybody in the room that there are ways to affect positive change on this campus without putting your emotional well-being on the line and carrying the tremendous burden that you do every single day. I don't think I'm going to be coming to one of these again. I'm not even all that invested in any of this, but I do feel stressed and anxious for you. And I'm not even the one being yelled at for having these things leveraged at me or against people that I love. If this is too much for you, I hope you won't allow yourself to be guilted into running for a position or remaining in a position that's making your college experience any harder than it already is or has to be. There are other ways. I failed to mention earlier that I'm an RA for the Washington Reed Complex. Last November, I attended a student staff advisory board meeting and spoke for 20 minutes about mandatory lockout fees. I argued that mandatory lockout fees disproportionately harm low-income students and students of color and other students from underrepresented populations. 3 weeks later, I sent a 14-page proposal to the powers that be in the Department of Housing and Residence Life, arguing the same. This January, it was announced that the policy of requiring RAs to charge a mandatory $10 fee to residential students who lock themselves out of their rooms on accident was removed in its entirety in every residence hall on campus. I'm not trying to make this about me. I know for a fact every single one of you is smarter and more impressive and more accomplished and is going to do cooler things than I am. I just want you to know that there are ways to enact change on this campus without ever having to attend one of these meetings again. Again, I have tremendous respect for all in this room who hold the positions or are interested in running for them. I'm just worried about y'all, and I love you a ton, and I'm rooting for you.
Oh, yes. Maria, you had your hand up at one point and now it is lowered, but you were in the line. So I just want to ask if you had anything that you would like to speak on behalf of.
Yes, I do. Just so everyone knows, my name is Maria Benitez Iglesias, and I just would like to speak on a point that Treasurer Colcott said, that there were Baker meetings with 3 to 4 people in a room in Baker, and I would like to verify that I saw those meetings multiple times as I was going to and leaving Baker study rooms looking for a place to study, and I saw those meetings multiple times, and the faces of people in that meeting looked like a little kid with their hand caught in the cookie jar. I would also like to direct a statement towards the person who spoke saying that Senate seats are unfilled and that if they want change, that they should have us go and make change. This is a place that has been strategically made to be unsafe for minority students, including those in the LGBTQ community, the disabled community, and the people of color community, and women multiple times systematically, and has been perpetuated by those in power. Thank you. I reserve the balance of my time.
So I was gonna say, kind of like what I was saying, about you guys being harassed. I think the difference between her like being harassed and people like coming at you is like historically on this campus that her life is like actually at risk. Like, you know, even historically, white people are more violent than us. Onto like people of color. So although like you guys might feel like you're in harm's way, let's be real about it. She's more at risk than any of us. Honestly, any person of color who's even speaking up and saying our name right now, basically just put a target on our back compared to you guys. And although you guys are not in our community, you have the privilege not to kind of worry about the violence or what we face on campus. But I'm pretty sure we all kind of know that. So regardless of like who you do, and I know you might feel like your life is at risk, but I think you guys have like the confidence and cultural confidence to know that that's not true. So that's it.
Hey y'all, my name is Joy Floyd, and I'm a first-year journalism business and co-student. In addition to that, I am also a John Newton Templeton Scholar through the Office of Multicultural Student Access and Retention, and as well as an Innovation Scholar through the Scripps College of Communication. And as well as that, I'm also the Vice President of the Black Student Communication Caucus, Public Relations for Ebony Minds, and also the Freshman Representative for the African Student Association Undergraduate Chapter. So they talk about connections, I got. As a Black woman on campus, the things I've heard and seen today show me exactly what I needed to know about student senate. You do not care for the students that do not look like you. Walter Malone has been continuously smirking and laughing throughout the entire meeting at comments made opposing student senate, but you stand for everyone. You two right here, Chief, you've been giving smart remarks to multiple students, but you stand for everyone. Going to a predominantly white institution is a challenge for minority students as is because of the lack of diversity here at Ohio University. We shouldn't have to go through even more things like this when all we want to do is leave, get our education, and graduate. Our careers after graduating are already uncertain, being that we work in a white man's world. Making that even more difficult when uncalled for should not happen. It is not our responsibility to educate you on the struggle of being a minority. You chose to be in these positions, so educate yourself before you put yourself in a position to represent people. I
was going to again, so echo everything Courtney said, but I wanted to bring up the point students their time and energy to but not join the Senate. I was once someone that might have made that comment, but now I can see the privilege from that time. I do want to point out that we shouldn't be asking people to join a place where they are not welcome in order to make change. I myself can say that when I told my therapist I was no longer going to be a part of Student Senate, he congratulated me. I've never seen her so happy. And I do want to say that I am striving, happy, and doing so many wonderful and impactful things this year, not being a part of Student Senate. I can see that making change no longer happens in Student Senate. It happens outside of organizations that support and help one another. And kind of going back to the comment, I do want to remind us that we're here because this organization pushed out a woman of color from a position of power. This organization needs to welcome people first before you can ask people to join. Thanks, I really balance my time.
I would just like to also speak on this behalf. I was, again, like I said, part of Student Senate. I ran as vice commissioner, and it is exactly what those two said. I wanted to make change, like I said. I had a personal attack on me from being at OU just for who I am. I wanted to make change, and I was not welcomed. I am now on the board of OSHA, which is Ohio University Society of Healthcare Administrators, and the complete change in leadership is crazy. We don't have as much power as Student Senate, but we are one of the most welcoming I've ever felt. When I joined Student Senate, I felt like I didn't, as a white man, I felt like I didn't even have a voice. I felt like people didn't listen. So I completely second what they have said and what others have said. Student Senate only cares about themselves and they don't care about what other people have to say. So.
But I do want to say, I feel like I'm hearing a lot of people saying, oh, you have to like come to Senate, you have to get into Senate. But similar was, she won by a landslide last year. She had the most votes. She did not even compare to the candidates that she was competing against. So this shows what democracy really is. And what's democracy? By the people, of the people, for the people. Maybe I used to change some of the words there, but essentially, the people want Tamar in this position. What you guys are doing right now is taking someone that we all want from one of the most powerful positions because you feel intimidated. I think it kind of shows what Student Senate essentially stands for. You're not for us, but she is for us. So when you take her out of that position, you should not exist at all. Thank you very much.
Madam President, how many times will your Chief of Justice be rolling her eyes at all of these comments?
We see you.
We see you. I see you. Thank you.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
I'm asking of everyone in the room, members and not, to, again, this has been addressed many times. Please stop rolling your eyes or making just rude gestures. We're in these rules to hear students out, and that's what we're doing right now. Okay.
Myra, Mary Consa, and I'm a third-year marketing student, and I'm also the president of the Ojai Speak on Campus, which is the first African-based organization at Ohio University. Since sitting in this room for the past 2 hours now, like this meeting started at 7:10, it's 9:04 p.m. There have been no genuine apologies or anything from the executives or the faculty in this room. If not for the amazing alumni on that call, y'all wouldn't have spoken up to say sorry or whatever the case is, and that's ridiculous. Instead, you've been sitting here trying to defend and save yourselves with smart remarks. And we literally are asking you to just stop. We don't care for your rebuttals, we don't care for your defend yourselves. We're asking you guys to listen, to understand, and not to react. Because for the past 2 hours, it's dark. For the past 2 hours, you've been listening to react, listening to get your last word in. Stop doing that. We are asking you to listen, to understand, right now. Listen to understand, for real. Open your ears and check your attitudes at the door. Stop catching attitudes. Listen to understand, because we're all in this room for a reason. There was no need to invite us to a student speak out if you're not going to listen to a student speaking out. There's no point in that. It's hard enough being a Black student on this campus who isn't represented the way they would have hoped in coming here, but it's been even harder watching Samara all of this. And I hope that all of you in this room who intended for this situation to tear Samara down or ruin her reputation know that it's only built her up even more, and she's gained an entire community of people that are going to support her and who will not be silenced. Thank you.
I'm very proud representing people. The students in the room right now, they are the reason I signed up for this. I will tell you that when I first joined Student Senate, my main goal was more environmentally inclined because I see a lot of bullying on the side of lobbyists and politicians, turning words like that are in Robert's Rules of Order in order to push their agenda instead of take care of the environment. However, when I signed up for Student Senate and I saw that the International Student Senator was available and that there was no one representing the international students, I decided that that was a more important cause than the environmental, than my initial environmental cause, which we also had representation for already. That being said, I completely respect the views of those of you who have said that you've left Senate because it has made you feel unsafe, and I completely understand it. However, I will not be leaving Student Senate. As a woman of color, I will remain in here for the amount of time that I'm available at the school. Because any day that I make a racist shake in their boots and I walk in the room, I did what I woke up to do that day. So I encourage you, do not let them keep you out, because then they win. Okay, do not let them say, okay, it's going to be hard. It's supposed to be hard. That's why we're here. I'm tired of being the only POC walking in a room. I am tired of it. I'm going to say something that I don't like pulling a race card, and I don't like making the issue, but maybe I should. Because I'll tell you something too. I come from a country where racism doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. It's wild coming here and walking into a room and feeling different because of something I cannot change. It's wild. But I'll say something. There's an event scheduled for Student Senate that has only white senators representing the Student Senate. It's a trick. I'm not going to say more than that because I think it's something that should be handled internally. There are only white senators being represented on something that is so huge, and I think it's just something that's being overlooked. I think it's something that because we have too many white senators, it's not even noticed. It's not seen. So we need you. I'm not saying it because I want you guys to fill seats. I'm not saying it to run the party line. I need more people like me in this room on a daily basis. Okay? I will be the battering ram. If it means if I have to have sleepless nights, if my therapist has to go over time for people like me not to have this conversation again, it will happen. I will take it. And I need more people like that.
Happy Black History Month. So I want to say for the record that the Minority Association of Pre-Health Students has been live streaming this the whole time. Several administration members, other MAP chapters around the country, alumni, and students from around campus have all been joining, and they all, just like us, are very disgusted and baffled by this whole process situation. And the MSLC will not only be making a statement to the students, but we will also continue to speak out until justice is made. We will continue to call out the injustices and wrongdoings that are happening here. And not only is there a lot of gaslighting, but there's a bunch of systemic racism that white people cannot see, and we don't expect y'all to see, but we do expect y'all to notice when we're calling it out. Because if it wasn't there, we wouldn't be here. And because on campus, everybody's held to the same standards, everybody's held to the same code of conduct. If this was me, I would file an ECRC report and let the offices at B handle it. But I still think you should. But that's neither here nor there. And then somebody said it's a common denominator. The common denominator is racism. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. It is, and that's plain and simple. Also, before today, I didn't even know half the people that are here were in Student Senate. I've never seen you all. You've never interacted with any of the multicultural organizations on campus. And so that just says that Student Senate stayed in their bubble, which is a huge issue because how do you represent people that you don't even know or interact with? Like London said, I'm very involved on campus, so for me not to know you is an issue. And for you to say that you represent people like me is an issue. Because if I don't know you, damn sure know that people who that look like me, sound like me, and are from where I'm from do not know you either. And also, you keep saying that we should come to join Student Senate, but this is not a very welcoming community just from the time that I've been here. It's very toxic, and I've gotten a headache from the whole time that I've been here. And okay. I'm almost there. I said, everyone who is saying that we should join the Student Senate are white men, and I don't think that a white man should tell me as a black man what to do, especially today. It is baffling because white people don't understand the struggles that black people, even multicultural students, go through every day, waking up, walking around campus. I've gotten caught the N-word by my residents with the heart ER and just been sat there and looked at my house and the residents like, okay. So I don't understand like the hardships and everything that we deal with. So for y'all to tell us that we should do something instead of saying like why we're not here is a huge issue. But thank you all.
Point of inquiry, allowed to just.
Do you want to extend it to 3?
You kind of remove the 2 minutes.
Oh, no, I was not trying to remove Sue's video. Sorry, to be clear, I was asking if we can cut off the timer and just let you guys continue. Are there any objections to removing the 2-minute limit? Sorry.
Should we maybe just do 3? Just remove it. Let them talk.
Yeah,
okay.
Just like saying remove it. Okay, if you're a voting member of the body, is there any objection to extending it, or to having no limit on the student speak out time?
No.
Okay, seeing none, the limit's removed. Okay. Who's next on the list?
Sydney, you have your hand up, and I'd like to call on you to speak now. We just, in case if you didn't hear, we removed the 2-minute time limit, so feel free to talk for as long as you may need.
Hi, okay, yeah, so I don't know like any of you guys. I'll be honest, I ended up seeing what was happening on social media through someone who had shared the what Student Senate had posted on Instagram, and I looked into it, and as a student at this university, as my mom had attended OU and I was, and I'm from Florida, so I'm an out-of-state student, I came here under the assumption that the school cared about people of color, it cared about women, and you know, I'm a senior graduating, and this has put a horrible taste in my mouth. I want to take this to administration after watching, first of all, how I'm very disappointed in how other women are treating this woman of color. Like, I just am flabbergasted as a woman myself, how you could, I'm sure a lot of you want to be lawyers. I heard horror stories from my mother as an attorney, how she was treated by men in the workplace. And the fact that you guys are perpetuating this, this attitude towards Samir is appalling. And I'm just, first of all, as a student, as a fellow human, as a fellow woman, I want to apologize to you, Simmer, for what you've been going through, because I can't imagine. And I, first of all, also want to, I hope to God that none of you guys who have been, the way that you've been treating her, those of you who want to be attorneys, I really hope that you don't want to be defense attorneys. Because let me tell you, the fact that you wouldn't tell us when she asked where you were, where in the, I don't know, in the code that you were allowed to read statements that were just anonymous tips, I wanted to know that. I'm just a student. I wanted to know that. I don't want to search it. This is your job. You're gonna have clients that are gonna not know things, and just because they're not as educated as you, it doesn't mean that they don't deserve the same level of respect. So just, as a student here, I was just appalled to see that, and I really do want to reiterate that. And I hope to God that you all do consider the line of the law that you go into, because of who you would be dealing with. And one last thing that I want to know is, what will you do to make this right for Simmer? If I went through something not even a little bit as bad as this, I would never feel comfortable returning to such an organization. I don't care that you've, that this has been overturned for her. I can't imagine her feeling comfortable returning. I don't know what you can do to make this right, but I want to know what you're going to do to try to make this right for her, because the trauma that she's ensued, let alone the backlash that she might have received, or just all this treatment, like how this could defame her emotionally, the impact that this could have on her is just abhorrent. And I'm horrified. And I just want to know, as a human, as a student, as a fellow woman, and a paying student at this university, what are you going to do to make this right for her? Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Brandon DiLorenzo. I'm a senior here in the College of Business, and wasn't initially even planning on talking tonight, but after sitting here for the last couple of hours and seeing how this meeting has been conducted, felt like there were a couple of things that I wanted to call out. And the first is, from my understanding from the president's own PR release at the beginning of this meeting, and then was then reiterated to an alumni on the call, Simmer is in fact then returned to her position. So all of this language of ex-treasurer is just a further effort to delegitimize someone that we've already established has done no wrong, and go back on the character. And the other thing is, I came here mildly hopeful. Obviously what's happened to Simmer is terrible, but was hopeful that, in open student senate meeting, giving students the opportunity to speak out would be an opportunity for us to see our democratic process at work and see that our student senate is receptive to the comments that are being made, both from fellow senators and from our fellow students. And that has not been the case at all. I mean, when you have a fellow senator that dares to speak out against a member of the executive board with the response being met of, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I think I got the quote right, point of order, no one asked, doesn't really seem like we're coming from a position of listening and actually digesting the concerns that are being considered. And quite frankly, my impression, I may not be speaking for the rest of the people here, but my impression is that y'all are counting down the minutes until there's not another name on that list, and that you have to stop listening to the same things over and over and over again. And that's a really scary proposition when y'all are supposed to be representing of this.
I'd like to reiterate that we're in this position to hear out students. I don't care how late this goes. That's why I removed the time limit. We're here to hear them out. I reserve the balance of my time on that.
Point of order, last week's meeting went until 10:30. I'm pretty sure. So it's not the latest meeting yet.
Okay. Another point of order, is there going to be like any repercussions to the senators who sit in Senate currently who are not present in this room and who are outside complaining about how long this is going? Because I can name them off if you want me to, because I passed it on my way outside. Who you want to be your treasurer as well, but let's not touch on that. Oh, so you're just no comment?
Point of order, I think our vice president just went outside to retrieve the senators. Speaking, just sitting here, I was unaware that that was even happening outside. I am glad that someone did bring it to our attention. I don't know what those repercussions are going to look like because I don't know how that is exactly outlined when it comes to that, and I would like to see what we can do.
Point of order for something that Marie said a while ago. My name is Sophie. I'm a senior. I'm in communication science and disorders. I'm in the Office of Health Promotions. I'm the president of Better Bystanders, and I'm in a committee for Power Gamma, which is like a general well-being org on campus. Besides from President Ivan, I have had no contact for the 3 years that I've been part of those orgs with anyone else from Student Senate. And so for our well-being orgs, for our whole student body to never have any communication with Student Senate is wild to me because you are there to serve us and we are here trying to serve other students and you're not helping us do that. So besides President Ivan, I have had no other communication with anyone in that org. So y'all need to do better.
I would like to direct response probably 2 statements ago from the commissioner whose name I do not know. I'm sorry, you're looking at me now.
Commissioner Robinson, whole name Trinity Robinson.
Commissioner Robinson. On potential punishments for these senators that are out there, I am slightly not familiar with the RMP anymore. I've been out for about a year. But I do believe that any member of Senate has the authority to call for an impeachment vote on any member of Senate for, I'm trying to remember the exact wording, behavior unbefitting of a member of Student Senate, I believe is the wording. So theoretically, if half of Senate were to believe that that behavior is unacceptable, you would have the ability to start an impeachment trial now.
Mia, you have your hand up online. In case if you didn't hear, we removed the 2-minute window, so you can feel free to talk for as long as you need.
Great, thank you so much. So I just want to start by saying that the defamation of Ms. Mccarty and the risk to her career, even though she has gotten her position back, as my understanding is, that is the principal reason most of us are here, is that there is just a great mishandling of this entire situation. I think this, what everybody's been saying for the past few hours, just speaks to the wider culture of the Student Senate and how it has made not only its members, current and former, but also the general student body feel. And if anybody who knows me personally knows that I just am a big, I don't know how to phrase this, advocate against microaggressions, because I think that that is really how I've been harmed the most, is not through like hostility and like a direct attacks, but as microaggressions. And so through the Diversity and Inclusion's Campus Climate Survey, I've gone to town halls to speak on this, but perhaps I'm going through the wrong channels. So I would just not particularly call out anybody, but more call in Student Senate that moving forward, I would really like to know and see more microaggression training, or maybe host more information on how you as a body are training and teaching yourselves to be more aware of this, because Student Senate is, as many people have said before me, I lost count. I started keeping track of names, but everybody is saying the same thing. It's so inaccessible. And there's so many types of diverse students. It is not just race. It is not just gender. There are first generation students, people of color, people of the LGBT community, commuters. And so just to reinstill my trust in this body, I will need to see widespread change, but mostly just know going forward to maybe put out a statement on your social media, or I would also like to receive an email that change will be made, just so that I can feel more secure in this body moving forward, and through that channel also feel more secure in my university that I'm paying to be at. Thank you. I reserve the rest of my time, even though there's not a time limit anymore. Sorry.
You're okay, thank you.
So everybody's saying that Simmer has her position back, but if I recall, Walter said that you guys did not have that authority, which because of the bylaws. So technically, Simmer doesn't have her position, correct?
So, is that directed to me or directed at that?
I'll answer and then I can direct it to you. So we just discovered today the discrepancy between it, and as soon as we did, we were like, oh my God, it's Boyd. Sorry for the unprofessionalism of saying, oh my God, but so we immediately wrote all of that. We had Dean Barnhard meet with Sten to explain, like, it's Boyd. We just realized that. And hearing that from the advisor and seeing that it didn't line up, it made sense, but we did not check with judicial panel on it. And since this was brought to me that it doesn't align, or that because we didn't go to judicial panel, there's gray area of what's happening right now. I haven't had a chance to address that yet. Once I do, I don't know, if there's there'll probably be a statement like addressing things from tonight. We can put that in there as well. And while I have the floor, when we're reviewing the two governing documents, I would like to work with diversity, inclusion, and FCC to review the governing documents, and also include something about a requirement of microaggression training and bias training in general with our members, so that we have that perspective.
Point of order, since you do have the capabilities to change the R&D and all that stuff, you should make sure this doesn't happen again to any other student.
Yeah. I would like to say point of order, if Simmer wouldn't have the support that she has now, this would have been swept under the rug. And I can say that because it has been. There has been so many instances when I was in Student Senate that things were swept under the rug because nobody had a voice. Simmer was brave enough to get a voice behind her because these problems have been happening. And now that it is a big problem, Senate wants to, oh, we're going to change. It should have happened a long time ago because there's so many things swept under this rug right now. I mean, it's dirty. There's so many things swept under the rug. Only reason we're caring about it now is because Simmer has a body behind her. That's the only reason.
Sorry. I think that before we leave this room tonight, it's important that we hear specifically, like, flat out what is going to change and what is going to be done, and how you guys are going to, like, really make changes with this situation and what's going to be done with tomorrow moving on. Because if we leave this room with nothing to hold you guys accountable to, then we can't be sure that this isn't going to happen again.
May I directly respond?
Yeah.
So in response to your previous, again, I do want to specify I'm a former Chief Justice. I don't currently have voting authority, but I do have a very good understanding of the RFP. In my personal opinion, which I feel important to specify, and I don't have a vote anymore, I believe that the combination, starting with the only person who technically can void the RFP is the judicial panel. Like the rationale pointed out by the executives and the advisors does make sense. I personally believe it and would therefore vote to null the result.
Christine wants to cancel her.
But the only person who can technically do that is the JP. The JP needs to talk.
Based on how late it is.
I'm
going to give a couple points regarding some of the
anyone can
information,
join those
but she wants to
meetings as
cancel
long
it.
as they notify in advance.
Okay.
The policy.
Is it okay if I go talk to her really quickly?
Yes.
Yeah, only investigations are closed.
It should be. Yeah. I'm just going to go make my
So the official meeting where this will be discussed will be tomorrow at the JP. The JP will be the person who has, or the organization that technically has the authority to yes or no. Like, was the vote valid or not?
Direct response from one voting member. I understand that I outlined one of my next steps, and that is to introduce legislation, which will, it's called the accountability bill, which will make, people who are giving that information, which will lead to defamation, will need to be held accountable as well. So that way, we don't have anonymous blanket statements. So I think that is a great next step for us to do, is to decrease anonymity when it comes to, being critical of executives.
Point of order, I think as students, we deserve updates via email to the entire student body as all of this happens. Because if you just send us one blanket email, oh, we're gonna change everything, we don't really know if that's actually happening. So we deserve emails updating us, because we all showed up here because we care about what happens tomorrow. We never wanna see it happen again. So we actually need to see the steps occurring, or we're not gonna believe that you're changing it.
That's great. Order. I believe that the members of the Student Senate should go through the Make Respect Visible campaign again, as well as the microaggression and consistent bias training that RAs, whether it's Bobcat student leaders, peer mentors, through OnStar, and a few other student leaders organizations have to go through, and they should have to go through it annually, RAs go through it every semester. I feel as if they should go through it every semester or every time, you get new senators, just because it is a huge thing or a huge issue, and a lot of people don't understand their implicit bias, or they don't understand a lot of the things that they think are wrong until somebody calls it out. But by then it's too late. And so to better prevent or to be proactive instead of reactive, then we should have more of this training for everyone. But that's just my opinion. But I do want to say that as a graduating senior, I would like to see that happen. But yeah, that's all.
Point of order, if I can. Oh.
For those who don't know me, I'm Senator Judy Hall. I'm a senator for the College of Business. And I'm still very new to the position, so obviously not much change has happened yet. But one of my biggest goals for the College of Business overall that I talked about during my interview with the executive board was to see change in the diversity and inclusion trainings among faculty and students. So hopefully, I just want to make sure that I address your concern, and also his concern earlier that I will be reaching out to some of the D&I advisors and directors for all the colleges and trying to make this training more accessible and more routine.
And I also had a point of order kind of question for you, if you don't mind. Those trainings, are they through like the residence life, like housing and residence life, or?
The Make Respect Visible and a few other trainings that housing and residence life members receive is actually through the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, through the Diversity Leadership Ambassadors. Lavina and myself are both diversity leadership ambassadors, so we would come into a classroom or whatever, something like this, and have a presentation. We would talk about implicit bias or whatever the topic is, and we would just discuss with whatever size group you had, and then we would open the room up for conversations, and we would share our stories of how we have experienced bias or experienced racism from any point in time in our life. And we would just share our story with you, be vulnerable, and then allow everybody to ask questions. If you contact Dr. Bruce or even Winsome Chanute, Dr. Winsome Chanute, they can point you in the right direction to sign up for those trainings. I actually do not know the website. I think it's on the D&I website, but those two people will get that set up for you all. And if you have any other questions, I can give you my email if we can.
Yes, please, actually. Thank you.
I'll give it to you.
That's up to you. Thank you very much.
For all Senate members here, I will find that link and I will include that in my committee report.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our meeting tonight, and I really appreciate all of you, and I appreciate all of your voices and the effort that it took to come here. I recognize that it's a lot, and I really appreciate hearing all of you. My name is Molly Pennington. I'm the Governmental Affairs Commissioner. I'm also a junior studying communication sciences and disorders. I have minors in linguistics and history as well. And I kind of want to follow Commissioner Sweeney's lead in apologizing for not doing my due diligence within my commission. My position in governmental affairs is absolutely one that would benefit from having minority voices, and minority voices are necessary in my commission. And I apologize for not reaching out to those organizations and making those connections sooner. So just be aware that I will be actively trying to do that, and I'm committed to including more minorities in my commission. I also want to personally, I can't apologize on behalf of the Senate, I don't have that authority, but I want to personally apologize to Summer for any defamation she's faced, any harassment she's faced. That's definitely not what we intended on this situation. That's not how we thought this was going to go. So I just want to personally apologize for that and any harm that you faced in this. As a member of Student Senate, knowing the information that I do now about the whole situation, I'm ashamed by the actions that we took, and I'm ashamed by the actions that we're taking now. So as a member of Student Senate, I just want to say I am committed to making change, and I want to see change happen, and I will make sure that I hold whoever I can accountable to making change.
Thank you so much.
Sorry my back is to you guys. I'm trying to find a good way to stand and do this. So hello everyone, my name is Elena Tartle. I'm the Vice President of Student Senate. You very well may have noticed that I haven't spoke much during this entire student speak out. I intended it to be a student speak out and to allow you all the time to let us know what we were failing as your representatives. And I wanted time to kind of digest that and listen to all of your concerns. So that's why I haven't really spoken much. Also, sorry for leaving earlier. After hearing that there were some people talking about how long this is taking outside, I went and told them that that was completely inappropriate and that they should stop. So I'm sorry for missing.
Where is he?
I don't know. So I apologize for leaving and apologize for whoever I may have not heard their concern while I was out there. Additionally, I would like to say that by no means do any of you have to be on Senate. You elected us to be your representatives and to hear your concerns. And the solution to that is not to take a place on Senate. If you want one, we have plenty of them. But you are by no means required or have to serve a position to get your voice heard or to have the changes that you want to see be enacted. Additionally, I'm a big person on intention and how I perceive something versus the outcome. So despite this is not the intention that I wanted for this at all. I had no idea what was going on. I was talking to Fire Chief Reimer outside during the executive session, not my intention at all, but I realized the outcome of this situation. And so I do want to formally apologize to everyone here that this was the outcome of that situation. Not my intention at all, but I recognize that that is what happened from it. And if I wanted my intentions to be clearer, they would have been clear. And it's clear that they weren't. So I do apologize to everyone, including Treasurer Colcat, for the outcome of this whole situation and the defamation of your character. That was no way any intention there, but that was the outcome, and I sincerely apologize for that. And we can talk more about that later. Also, I want to touch on the meetings in Baker. I had no idea that those were happening until literally this meeting. I'm going to follow up on who was in that meeting, if there's any investigation going on. Sorry, my voice is shaking. What's kind of going on with that? I had honestly no idea that was going on, and that is my honest truth. If I had known that was happening, that would have been shut down really quick. And I can say that with 100% honesty. It's unsettling to me that these people that I've worked with for so long, had a meeting in Baker to discuss that. It's completely unprofessional. And it really hurts me that that's something that these people that I've worked so closely with would do something like that. And finally, I'm hearing all the concerns that are happening tonight. And I've been writing notes this time. I have some of the positions that you all have been mentioning. And we also have a list of your names. So I will be emailing out to all of you, just to kind of follow up on things that have been said, because I honestly might have not caught everything that was being said. So I just want to follow up with all of you guys. If you have any other concerns or you feel like I'm not representing you in a way that you feel is adequate, please let me know. My email is et282217@ohio.edu. You're more than welcome to email me. And also I hold office hours in Baker. I work at Starbucks. Like, I'm all around this campus. So I hope that you all reach out to me if any concerns or you feel that my job or anything I'm doing is inadequate. And even if there's no time, I reserve the balance of my time. I feel like that's the way to end it.
Point of order.
Yes.
For holding those accountable for this so-called coup, will there be if so it's found guilty or whatever, will there be a press release like Simmers, or will we not know? I think the student body deserves to know who is starting these coups and who is basically turning Student Senate into the disgrace that it is.
Point of order. I know we mentioned a lot about, I mentioned this, a bunch of people hiding behind their screens, referring me, essentially harassing me. And I think somebody mentioned that, we can go into an impeachment trial for behavior not fitting Student Senate. Well, the people who were in that coup are sitting in this room. Actually, one is too scared to come back into this room because he's probably shitting his pants that I'm about to say this. The people that were in that coup, ex-Commissioner Dylan DeMonte, Vice Commissioner Chandler Jent, and Senator Ryan Goodman. That was who was in the coup. And you can all write those names down. You guys can verify that all you want. The testimonial was given that Celine Freitag breached her confidentiality, gave my points to them to push that through. So do what you want with that information. Yeah. Ryan Goodman, Dylan DeMonte, and Chandler Jent.
Gent. J-E-N-T.
All right, let's bring back.
He just came back into the room.
Let's bring back the order. Who's the next one?
Excuse me. Just never mind.
Who's next on the list?
I'm sorry? Oh, perfect timing. Good night, Chandler.
So, point of
That's
order.
all.
I'm thinking about rules. If you have an issue with something or you believe something that someone else said is wrong, that is a point of order. If someone says something and you want to say something next, you ask the presiding officer, may I directly respond? It really doesn't matter. I'm too thinking about rules. I'm sorry.
Nyla, you did have your hand raised. I don't see it right now at one point, and I would like to ask you if you have anything else to say.
Excuse me, can we please be quiet to hear Nyla?
I'm sorry, there's some talking in the background. If you would mind unmuting yourself and saying what you would like to say at this time. If you're still on the call, Nyla. I'm sorry, I do not see. Okay.
Let's move forward and then go back to her.
Maria, your hand is raised. If you wouldn't mind, if you would please unmute yourself and speak.
Yes, I just would like to speak about the professionalism of Student Senate, and I would like to thank alumni Nyla. I know she's no longer on the call, but without her speaking, your behavior would not have changed, because the first solid hour and a half of this meeting, we heard from multiple students that you were rolling your eyes, giggling at students, their cadence, what they were speaking, the points they were making, you were giggling at them, you were not paying attention, sending iMessages. I heard whispering on the call between people in the front. just recently. And I would just like to say that that behavior is extremely unprofessional. And then you went out of your way to apologize for saying, oh my God. But I think it's truly because you were aware there are now alumni talking about this, not because there are current students talking about this. It took a woman attending a prestigious university, a prestigious law school, which is the route that most people in Student Senate want to take, saying that the alumni are talking about this. And I believe that that behavior is a result of you thinking that you could take a couple weeks to just sit back and let the tide roll over for those still on Student Senate after you massacred Treasurer Colcutt's reputation and her career. Because even if the decision is void, even if she gets her position back, even if she continues to serve excellently and incredibly through the rest of her term, this will still show on a Google search. This will still show on her background check or anything that they want to say. This isn't a void decision where it's like, oh, it never happened. It obviously happened. The effect on her mental health and the way it will affect her throughout her life is there. And I just would like to make another comment about the lack of professionalism on Student Senate, considering you're supposed to represent us in a manner that is flattering to all students. And it's very disrespectful to everyone here, especially when you roll your eyes at students of color and students of oppressed minorities. Also, I just would like to state that those who left early, it is embarrassing. If you can't sit and listen to those in Student Senate, those students, as you were supposed to represent them, then please do not have a position if you don't want to listen to your own constituents. I believe that is it. No, it's not, actually. I would like to speak about the term microaggression being thrown around casually. This is not a microaggression. This is a full-on racist attack with racist motivations towards Treasurer Colcutt. And it's more than a microaggression. It is an actual explicit bias that you people have when it comes to your treatment of oppressed minorities. And your training, your implicit bias training, is not going to train that out of you. You need to examine yourself, examine everybody on your Senate, and see where you are lacking and learn to grow instead of rolling your eyes at everybody here. I believe I'm good for now, but if I have anything else, I will be sure to voice my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
That means you walked down his position. Sorry, not so talk a lot. I will energize. It's not contagious. It's not COVID. I took the test. Hi, I'm Megan. I'm the Commissioner of Women's Affairs. I'm a social work major. We were just wondering if that means he walked down his position entirely, or if it's something that will be dealt with later. Because I agree with what our constituents are saying, that it is more than mildly concerning.
Direct, I got a direct response. He actually left because he felt like he was being targeted just because he was doing a good job with SAC at managing funds, and he said that verbatim, and now he just walked out. So Chandler Dent was his name.
May I direct a statement? So if I get this right, they have the power to impose an impeachment, correct?
Yes. Initiate.
Oh, sorry, whatever, initiate.
Impeach, yes.
Okay, okay, perfect. Him walking out like that just shows you that he doesn't care. So I'm wondering why nobody has.
Point of order. I will mention that among the senators in this room, there have been a lot of times that conspire with him behind closed doors. So I thought of that, of getting that impeachment, but that vote will be basically no point because they will conspire with him because they're just buttons.
I have a point of inquiry.
I was genuinely
I do have a question for the judicial panel. If we were to motion to make that vote, can we make that vote with the person not present?
Sorry, everyone. He has the right to be He has the right to represent himself. He has the right to represent himself.
Oh, what?
Can I ask a question? Why should we trust the judiciary panel when they are behind all of this? Why should we trust you guys when everything's in front of you? Why can we not have people outside of the Senate do an investigation on you? I don't trust any of you guys to make any of the proper and correct decisions when what's happening to Simar could have been solved with just a simple conversation. So I don't think it would be smart, marketing wise, everything wise, for any of you to make position by yourself.
Sorry.
Who's gonna police the police?
Where's your advisor? Point of order. Where's your advisor?
I have a response. The judicial panel, although we are currently working without our graduate advisor, we still have 2 other advisors. We have the assistant dean of student affairs and the vice president of student affairs, and those 2 are listed as our.
Are those people listed on the Bobcat map?
I honestly, I haven't
You should
been on
know
the
that.
board.
As a student leader, you should know that. You have that responsibility.
Okay,
I'm not trying to be hostile. I'm so sorry, but this is so frustrating.
I will answer. If you were looking for names, it's Dr. Terry Hogan and then also Assistant Dean Chad Barnhart right here.
If you'd like to ask him, he is our advisor. So.
Gotcha. I would update that Bobcat map because that's where the students go for information. That is the first line, right?
Yep.
Another point of order, as a student leader and as the president of the American Medical Student Association, I have not received any email from the Senate since 4/6/2021. Nothing. And I have been on in 3 execs. And since the term started that you were voted in, somehow, I have not received a single email from you. So where is the representation of student organizations and the student body in general? And that's not like a rhetorical question. I'm like asking for an answer.
I'll take it as chairperson. You're right. There has been a lack of reaching out to other student organizations, and it's showing. And it is detrimental. It is awful. I will make sure that's represented, and I'll make sure that's represented during our review of our governing documents, because I completely agree. It's 2021. It's a whole different year.
Yeah.
And as a leader too, not even just to the student body. So that's really showing, and I appreciate all of you leaders coming and talking about this and using your voice to tell us about this representation issue. I'm taking it seriously, and I really want involvement on looking at our governing documents. So if any leaders in this room want to be a part of reviewing that, please let me know. I'll post the meeting.
Thank you, Monica.
So responding to a point that you made earlier about he had the right to represent himself, Sin did not have the right to represent herself, so what's your response?
Yes, I can speak on that. So in the rules of procedures, it is outlined that the vote of no confidence and an impeachment are 2 separate things. In an impeachment, that is a trial, and that is why, we work with evidence and we present that. Both sides get to speak on that, just like a regular trial in a court. And then there's also an appeals process for that. The impeachment is separate from the vote of no confidence in that it is not a trial. It is not conducted by the judicial panel like an impeachment is. The vote of no confidence is conducted by the president and senators. And so because it is a vote conducted by them, it is not a trial. And so we don't have that.
And being that information that you know, and that you just restated to me and everybody in this room, why provide information that you did not do a thorough investigation on a vote that you knew made a difference in whether she held her position in office?
Again,
he had the opportunity to defend himself, but she had no opportunity to defend herself based on you knowing that specific procedure was going to give her the opportunity to not be able to say anything. You knew it was going to silence her.
Again,
put a muzzle on her.
That was not a statement by the judicial panel. That was something given to me to be read anonymously, and I read it as the chairperson of the meeting, not as the chief justice of the judicial panel. That did not reflect anything found by the judicial panel or our opinions. Anybody during a session like that has the option to discuss anything. So had that person not wanted to read it anonymously, which I understand why they did want it read anonymously, had they chosen to read it themselves, it would have been the exact same thing.
It's fraudulent information.
Everything, like, anybody could say anything, just like when we debate with.
But you did it before a vote that made a difference in her office. I don't think you're understanding or grasping the weight of this information. You just reiterated to me that you made a decision before a process that gave her the opportunity to not be able to say anything based on what was presented. And you did not know that if it was true or not. Yes, you did it before a vote that was going to determine whether she holds her office. Common knowledge tells you, hey, maybe I should investigate something before I accuse somebody of something they did not do.
Direct response. Didn't you have that entire anonymous tip right when the meeting started, that 2.5 hour meeting? Didn't you have 2 hours to investigate it?
I'm not gonna call the panel and
But I know
also,
that, I know that. You did have it for 2.5 hours, and you did not do anything in that 2.5 hours.
Again, I was present to the meeting, I was attentive to what was going on in the meeting, and I had no responsibility to investigate it. Again, this has nothing to do with the judicial panel or anything that's presented to us. This was just a statement that I was reading as the chairperson of that meeting. It has nothing to do with my role as a judicial panel, and anybody else in that meeting could have read the statement.
I would like to go back to our procedure of going in the line and going through just to keep it efficient. If there's more discussion, feel free to email Senate or judicial panel. Is there something that's on the list?
No. Okay, y'all. Hello.
Again, my name is Alexandria, the West Board. I am, as president of Mass Vice President of this movement. I just want to reiterate that as my senior advisor Marie said, our Instagram live going right now, people are watching. People far beyond Ohio University, people who don't even know who y'all are. We're watching this. Please believe me, we are like eyes darting on to see y'all's next move to understand how this is going to impact how we, as BIPOC people of color, bring more minorities to this campus. As people who have been here for a very long time, it's like, especially getting ready to leave this campus, I would not want to bring somebody who I personally know from my high school to come here dealing with stuff like this. From a Black woman who's been on this campus who has had many things happen to me by white individuals, some of them who even work here, it's hard for something like this to be happening to another woman of color for you to take and say, oh yeah, come on you. It's great. No, it's not. So as I said, with this live, my organization is national. So please know, we are watching. Y'all may not see us, y'all may not hear us, but we are watching. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey y'all. I really wasn't intending on speaking much in this meeting, but I just want to say my name is Lauren Brown. I'm the president of the Black Student Union, and my full car and talk about how disappointed I am in, well, the judiciary board, I can't never pronounce that word, I'm sorry, but the board and student senate, I really wish that there was a way that this could have been resolved without having to do all of this, but here we are. And I also wanted to speak on the fact, again, how multiple student leaders, Black student leaders have mentioned that we have not heard from anybody on those boards. Again, like I've talked to Eliza because of the student council leader with the dean or whatever, but other than that, I have no idea who the rest of you are, and I just think that's pretty sad with me being the president of Black Student Union here. And if you disagree, I think that's even sadder. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents on that. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Jilly, oh yes. Jilly, you had your hand raised if you would like to speak at this time.
Yeah, hi. I'm actually just gonna skip. I think everyone's kind of repeating the same thing. I know y'all are tired. It's all good.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'm talking about a whole other issue. We were actually supposed to have a presentation tonight by Christine Wood, she's over here, the lovely red sweater. But I
I just want to make a note. The Bachelor of Science in Nursing organization is hosting a blood drive in coordination with the American Red Cross on Wednesday, March 2nd, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Grover Center in room E223. Please sign up if you are able to donate on the American Red Cross website. For more information, please reach out to Christine after the meeting or even email her at cb035620@ohio.edu. cb035620@ohio.edu. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Point of inquiry, just for a second, I'm going to let you all take a picture, and then the next slide is the QR code in case if anybody wants to scan it. I'll leave it up there for a second.
Okay, I just wanted to say that I'm going to speak for the multicultural student organization coalition with this one to say that we would like to see a more intentional response from Senate moving forward, not just with like incidents that are very sensitive, such as race or sexual assault or whatnot, but just even getting to know the student leaders on campus. It can even go as simple as an email or as, just inviting out student leaders to like a little talk or to like their student senate meetings. Like I understand like a lot of stuff is on Bobcat Connect, but as a busy student, I barely check Bobcat Connect. I barely check my email. Kind of be honest, if it's not from a professor, I really don't read it. But there are ways to get in touch with student leaders. And like moving forward, I would really like to see more intentional conversations or meetings because a lot of people did have a lot of things, a lot of very important and great things to discuss here tonight. And I feel as if we should not have had to be brought together because of this unfortunate incident. And it also should have been handled a lot differently, in my opinion. But I think that us all coming together will have a great impact for you. Because again, like everybody said, they have a lot of reach. I have the vice president of diversity and inclusion cell phone number, and me and her go, sit down and drink coffee together. And so, like, a lot of people are really connected, and it's not really what you know, it's who you know. And being able to network with a lot of people in this room will be beneficial moving forward. And again, we are your constituents. And just like in the real world politics, nobody gets reelected without knowing their people or the people that they represent. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for your time.
Hi everyone. I originally had planned to read this statement during the announcements portion of the Senate meeting, although I'm not sure how many people are going to stay, and I feel that it is pertinent that a lot of people here speaking out hear it. So I'm going to read it now. This is addressed to the esteemed Senate executives, the wonderful members of Student Senate and Judicial Panel, and our honorable advisors. 7 years ago, the Ohio University Student Senate passed a landmark decision to create the Judicial Panel. This comprised 3 entities that were once part of the Senate, which included the Committee on Rules and Procedures, the Committee on Conduct and Discipline, and the Board of Elections. These 3 vitally important groups were originally created in order to ensure that the Student Senate functioned to best serve its constituents and the Athens community at large. After a number of years, it was discovered that having these 3 groups as part of the organization created a sense of inner turmoil within the body through corruption, petty feuds, and a disregard for the duty of the offices. Thus, the 2015 and 2016 Student Senate body created the Judicial Panel to operate autonomously outside of the Senate body in order to eliminate intermember bias, and the Judicial Panel was endowed with the duties of each of these 3 past entities. Since its inception, during the 2015 and 2016 school year, the panel has efficiently carried out its duties. All members of the panel have done their best to ensure that the Student Senate functions to best serve the students of Ohio University. Since the onset of the pandemic in the spring semester of 2020, there have been a lot of questions concerning the Judicial Panel's handling of situations which have arisen. Individuals and groups have repeatedly questioned the integrity, morality, and procedural knowledge and practices of the judicial panel simply because our decisions did not align with what they believed to be the correct choice. Despite what the media may proclaim, members of the JP understand the restrictions on power outlined in the rules of procedures and have consistently upheld their duty to the panel, the Senate, the RMP, and the students of Ohio University. Even after constantly explaining that the judicial panel must act within the confines of the rules and procedures, we faced excessive backlash from current and former members of the Student Senate for the past 3 years. While all of these students are well within their rights to express their discontent, they fail to acknowledge, even after being explicitly informed, that the panel is the entity tasked with interpreting and applying the rules and procedures. I first joined the Student Senate Judicial Panel with encouragement from Chief Justice Emeritus Walter Milhone. By my joining the Judicial Panel has led to several positive experiences. I've made some of my best friends through the panel, and I've also had the chance to work on my critical thinking and communication skills. Additionally, having the opportunity to serve as the first female Chief Justice of the panel has been a very high honor. But at the same time, my membership in this panel has caused a severe detriment to my well-being. After a tumultuous 2 years, I hope that I would be able to use my power as Chief Justice to repair the reputation of the panel. I've reminded members—
Please stop rolling your eyes when she's speaking. Samar, it's so rude. You're also rolling your eyes. So please, if you're gonna beg people for respect, can you please give everyone the respect? Thank you. Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I've reminded members of the Senate that the panel is intended to be a resource and not just a disciplinary body. I've attempted to host events and make the panel more accessible, but none of these efforts have had the results that I hoped for. I'd like to remind the students and members of the Senate that it is the Senate body that makes the rules. The judicial panel enforces those rules, but the Senate body may change the rules if they do not feel they accurately reflect the wishes of the current body. Nonetheless, people will look for someone else to blame, and the panels continue to serve as the scapegoat for these problems. While it's unfortunate, I've concluded that given the current atmosphere of the Senate and failure of several of its members to uphold their oaths of office, I can't sit by and interpret the rules and policies for a body that refuses and fails to apply and uphold them. I also need to put my personal safety and well-being as a high priority, as I've been personally harassed and received numerous degrading comments and threats on social media regarding my future career from people I've never met before for simply doing what is asked of me by the rules and procedures. This harassment, I believe, is a direct result of the treasurer's posts, which are in violation of the student conduct. Despite what some people on social media may claim, I'm very much aware of what my morals, values, and motives are, and I'm very proud of all the hard work that I've put forth to be where I am. I also believe that members of the panel and members of the Senate are able to understand this and would say that the recent attacks on my character are not founded. I'd like to comment specifically on a post that the treasurer made to address me, saying to reflect on my morals, values, and motives before applying to law school. As I said previously, those who genuinely know me are aware of my morals, my values, and my motives. Those who know me are also aware that I have no interest in applying to law school, and I plan to use my degree in a different capacity. So that being said, it's clear that the treasurer and all of her friends who reposted this and sent me threatening messages to my personal account do not know me in any capacity. Once again, she's using her platform to intimidate others. I'm therefore resigning from the Ohio University Student Senate Judicial Panel, effective immediately, and this resignation is also effective for Associate Justices Juliana Rittenberg, Julia Pratt, and Cheyenne Nagel. And now I'm no longer bound by the rules and procedures, so I would be more than happy to provide insight to any inquiries or media outlets into what the panel and I have been dealing with for the past school year. The former treasurer has been referred to us several times for blatantly violating the rules and procedures and using aggressive rhetoric to intimidate other members of the organization. I have the receipts. As a member, we brought her in to discuss how her demeanor may contribute to an unfair distribution of power dynamics within her situation. And once again, a point of order, the panel is a legitimate organization. We still have advisors.
I'm not going to allow discussion on a resignation.
I'm not addressing the resignation. I think it's very dangerous that you know the body environment is credit. If you go
Shows your value.
along with that,
Shows
it's
your
very
value.
dangerous in the real world.
That's not constructive to the meaning of this right now.
None of this is constructive. It's
She's receiving all this. Majority of the people who are addressing this are people of color.
That's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. You cannot just resign after you see criticism. You're not holding yourself accountable.
A point of order, if anybody receives any threatening messages, as a mandated reporter, you should go to conduct, you should file an incident report,
She has.
talk to somebody about it, because that's not okay. Criminal conduct does not represent that. Being a Bobcat does not represent threatening other students or other Bobcats, no matter what the circumstances are. So if you are receiving threatening messages, this is to everybody, report it. If you see something, say something, be a better bystander. Everyone should know that. Everybody goes through the same training as the next person sitting next to you. And if you are the one threatening people or sending threatening messages, I'm not saying anybody is, but come on now, we're better than that. It's 2021. Be a better Bobcat. Bobcat pride, stand behind what you get. Also, listen to the quote, you need to love it, everything. Stand behind each other. You should never kick someone when they're down, and you should try to raise them up, or try to pick them up. I'm sorry for the improper grammar or English, whatever you want to call it, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, just be a better person. Don't threaten. If you have an issue with somebody, talk to them as an adult. We're all adults here. And if the conversation doesn't go as you wanted to, get somebody to mediate the conversation. I know Dr. Kathy Bob, I know her personally. I took a class with her last semester. She'd be more than willing to sit down and mediate a conversation, as well as, I don't know you, sir, but I'm pretty sure you would sit down and mediate a conversation, as well as having other people in this room. So yeah, be a better person. Don't be miserable, and don't, these things like this haunt you. Bullying is a federal, that's a felony. So it's no point in doing that. Cyberbullying felony, you will go to jail for that. And you wouldn't feel right if somebody did something to themselves because of a senseless act or because of words that you are saying that you don't mean because you're enraged or you're angry. So also remember that. And also, you wouldn't want anybody else to bully you or your siblings or your loved ones. So treat others the way you want to be treated. And that's what I gotta say.
Point of order. I know you just been gonna speak on representation. I don't care. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a prime example of how a white woman can cry crocodile tears and walk out of a room, and a black woman of color cannot. She's standing trial in front of a bunch of people, and she could say her 2 cents and walk out of the room. I'm just saying, she can't do that. She can't do that. She has aggressive rhetoric because she has to get her point across in a room full of white people. She's sitting here trying to be a person for the people because she's the only person for the people in a room full of white people. Understand that. So yes, crocodile tears, boo-hoo, ha-ha. But guess who didn't leave? The person of color was on trial. When that white man, Chandler, left because of his mental health, what about her? She left because of her mental health and how everything is going on is affecting her. Cool. What about her? She's standing here while everybody is saying whatever they want to say, how they feel, and they can it's too much for me, and leave. And they have everybody walk out behind them. What is that? Why is the woman of color have to show more strength than the white people? What is that? Because we can't do that in the real world. We can't boo-hoo to your mama and your mom fix it. We can't boo-hoo to advisors and they fix it. She can't do that. She can't, sorry. She cannot do that. So yeah, resign all you want to. We're gonna get somebody better.
Point of information. So the vote, the kickout center, or expel center was a vote of no confidence. out of curiosity, with the expulsion of executive members, with the member of Senate that stepped out and left the meeting, is there able to be a vote of no confidence with that Senate member?
That's a good question.
Madam President, can I direct
We're gonna, Sherry, motion for a direct response and hold video.
Votes of no confidence happen at the end of the fall semester and the 6th week of the spring semester. So we can't do another vote of no confidence, but you can absolutely begin an impeachment. And the judicial panel, the remaining 2 members of the judicial panel will 100% investigate it.
That's also something we will consider when reviewing rules and procedures. It's a great point. There should be evaluation of every member as well. Lavina. Sorry, Oh, okay.
I'd like to direct a statement. I made it very clear when I first started talking. I wasn't supposed to, but I spoke directly to her, and I said that nobody should be threatened. It is sad that she was the face of it. But like she said, she gets to walk up and leave. Simmer has to sit here and fight for who she's representing. Who is she representing? Because she gave up pretty quick when he came on her. She's representing every person of color at this university, and that's why she's fighting. So she might be bad. I hope her mental health's great. But you know what? It was way too easy for her to resign. I mean, she obviously doesn't care that much, in my opinion.
I have a point of order for the accusations against Summer that she made before she left about the intimidation. During that coup that was formed back last semester, I was attempted to be coerced into saying that I was intimidated by Summer regarding the purchase of that computer, that $1,200 computer that sits in the student senate office right now. I was coerced, attempted to be coerced into admitting that I was intimidated by her when she literally just came up to me and asked me, do we need to spend this amount of money on this computer? And that was during that coup. So as far as responding to what she didn't want to respond to and have the dramatic exit that I'm sure she loved, that is the accusation that she's talking about. There may have been more, but as far as that case that happened with that coup, yes, I was involved with that, and that is not true.
Thank you for that clarity.
When that guy just got to fucking walk out the room and just, again, leave just like everyone else has left. So Samara's been sitting over here, and throughout this whole process, throughout her term, she has done everything right. And a false accusation and just one miscommunication where one conversation did not happen is why this is going to haunt her for the rest of her life. You guys get to sit there and make that decision, but your guys' names aren't going to be on the first Google search. So this is going to haunt her for the rest of her life when it was just one false accusation. And I'm just very concerned that the anonymous tip that happens and the false accusation is not going to be taken seriously. It doesn't seem like it is being taken seriously because you're telling me that, again, it's a white man that was sitting here and got to walk up out of the room if he was 100% a part of this premeditated attempt to get Samar out of office, he can't even sit in the room and listen to the consequences of his own actions, and that's who you guys want to be your new treasurer, instead of Samar, who's sitting over there doing everything right. And he already is acting way more unprofessional just in this meeting tonight than she has her entire term. And I'm just so confused and angry right now that it just does not seem like anyone really gives a flying shit. I just really want you guys to understand, and I want to know before I leave tonight that accusation, that false and anonymous tip is going to be taken seriously, that the whole situation you guys haven't gone, kind of like the cult you guys have going on, where you guys can just put into office whoever you want, is really going to be taken seriously, because that man is not who I want as my treasurer for the fucking Senate. I want Samar.
bylaws are for white people. We can't do a vote with no confidence, but we can with Samar. But with him, we have to impeach. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, he's done wrongdoing. We all saw it. A vote with no confidence means you do not have confidence for that person to hold that position. So I'm really confused at why you guys don't understand how him walking out in this degree of like what's happening isn't a valid reason to vote with no confidence.
Point of order, not just him walking out, all the white people who follow.
Yeah.
I would like to direct the
Not
question.
just him.
I would like to direct the question. So, with only 2 members remaining on the Senate Judicial.
Judicial.
Sorry. But thank you. With only 2 members remaining on this committee, how will the process of reviewing the case at hand be handled? Because it's already a difficult, heated case, and it's already been elevated. And since the only people that can't overturn the case, I'm sorry if I'm directing the question to y'all and not to you. But how it's already a heated case as it is. So how will it how will it like turn out? Will it be more people involved than just the 2 of them? Will the advisors get involved? Will an outside party get involved to come to an understanding or a term that is fair for everyone, all parties involved? That might have been multiple questions, but you all get where I'm trying to go.
I can address it if you feel like this now, but feel free to fill in. But so how our governing documents currently are, there is that separation of vote of confidence and impeachment. And hearing your concerns, it's very obvious that there needs to be more similarity between the two instead of such a difference. I keep saying this will be in consideration of the reevaluation of our governing documents, but with there only being 2, there are now 3 positions that need filled to have a quorum. So if anyone knows anyone that is interested in having a position and doing this, please encourage them to apply. But I don't know what my next statement was. So
because there are only 2 of us, we aren't able to vote on anything, which is a problem. But we can still do investigations, which can involve anyone in the Senate who we think is relevant to the investigations. Of course, our advisors. We just can't do it.
That's what quorum means. Quorum means you have 5 people to break a tie, essentially. So us 2, unless it's unanimous, that still doesn't count in the rules of procedure. But you know what I mean? It would be fair that we have 2 voting.
But we can absolutely still investigate.
Yeah.
What?
To bounce back of who would be involved in the conversations, our 2 members now. And if we would probably invite people that have served before in judicial panel, see if they would be able to provide some advice that way, our advisors. And I mentioned earlier that I would like MCC and diversity and inclusion to look over it as well, have a representative from that, and then also open it up to student leaders too to review, because at this point it is something that is a general concern of the student body. So I would like to open it up to people to be able to comment and look at it and make sure it's readable to everyone.
To direct the question, sorry, I'm a little rusty because it's been a year. How do you apply? Because I bet you $20 that there's probably 3 people in here, including myself, that would like to be on that panel now.
That would be amazing. Let me make sure there's a form on Bobcat Connect before I tell you.
There is. Sorry.
Oh, no, that goes way
Sorry to
quicker.
interject
So,
myself.
yeah, it should be a form on judicial panels, Bobcat Connect specifically, and if there is interest in Senate in general, that's on our Senate one specifically on a form.
I just have a quick point of order. I have an assignment due at 11:59, so I gotta go. But I spoke with my exec board on Alpha Kappa Psi, and we are willing to, one of our main things, professionalism, unity, brotherhood, education. So as a student senate, we've kind of noticed a lack of professionalism in some of those aspects. We would be willing to either come in and help you provide ways to gain professionalism or the resources in which you can advance yourself as a student body organization. So if you would like any of that information, I'd be happy to like reach out and help you. But other than that, I'm gonna head off because I have stuff I have to do.
Sorry, your name was Matthew Courtney, right?
What is the timeline of all of this, like investigation, all these things, you reaching out to our boards? When is it gonna happen? That's happened since I've been at OU. I don't know when to expect these emails. When can I expect these emails? When can I expect the follow-up? When can any of us expect answers to results? The follow-up question, I've been president, I've been on Mass Executive Board for 4 years, I'm a 5th-year student, and I swear to you, I have never ever gotten it. Never. No.
Judicial panel wouldn't typically reach out to people anyway unless there was something that was a violation. That's kind of like why we overlook the rules of procedure. It's kind of a good thing if you don't get one from us because it's not something where we could quickly email you. It means that we are asking like, hey, is this good? Did you know anything about X, Y, and Z? But that's what we're saying when we can start uploading more about like our meeting times. I've considered doing that on our social media. But I haven't heard, I'm so sorry, this is like awful. But I haven't heard a lot of people who like specifically said like, yeah, I'd actually pay attention to that or not. So I also wasn't running the PR for a while, but I would be happy to do that.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what's I'm not lying to y'all. I mean, I don't.
I wouldn't assume that you were lying. Kind of just an overall of it is that there's a focus on policy and programming. And so there's looking into policy and how that affects college students, and then also programming. For example, Commissioner Cooley does Pride Week. Commissioner Handel is taking care of some aspects of Take Back the Night. So those are like some things that Senate are involved in as examples.
Oh, yeah. To say a point of order, I've been on the executive board for 4 Paws for Ability for 3 years, and we've never had any reach out from Student Senate. And when we have reached out to certain people on campus, we have been threatened to get kicked off of campus for whatever reason because we train service dogs. So I would just like to say we've never heard anything from Student Senate as an organization that trains service dogs for disabled kids. So I would just like to throw that in the ring.
Thank you. Noah Kiger, you had your hand raised. I'm not sure if you're still on the meeting.
Yeah, I just wanted to express my concern about the difficulty of the medium of communication. An example being I can't comment in this meeting or I can't comment on specific social media posts. And if I can't do it, I'm sure other students can't communicate as well. And I would just, I guess I'm wondering why.
Oh, I am so sorry. I don't know why the Teams chat is not like allowed to like anybody being able to chat, but this goes for every single person who's in this Teams meeting right now. If you have anything to say, please raise your hand, and I would be more than happy to call on you. I am deeply sorry that is not access to everybody. And to be honest, I'm not a Teams wizard. I do not know how to turn that on. And yes, I know that you were talking about the Instagram post as well regarding the press release. And I sadly do not think I am qualified enough to speak on this. So I'm going to bounce it off to our chairperson.
Would be more of a question for our Director of Public Relations. But it has been mentioned that the intent of having the comments off on that was to avoid creating another platform for any defamation to take place. But we will turn those back on. And yeah.
Wait, did you say you could turn them on?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
I think it's a little late for that, but also like to prevent defamation is also preventing all the other students from communicating as well.
Make a comment.
To go back to your point about a timeline of everything, because I don't think we like answered your question that great. I don't have a specific timeline. Would it be helpful if we kind of like discussed it a little bit after about like when we wanted to get this done and then email that out to you?
Yes, definitely. I would love to bring up some of my colleagues. I have a list over there. He talked a lot about all his credentials and how he has these dates written in for as far as like not only the workshops and the training, but also we would love to see people who represent us be at our events. That's the least we ask. So I would love to be in contact, same with just like